Mama,
we made it! Ding, 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 ding! What it do, dog?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest today.
I can't wait for you to reveal this, bro.
A legendary NFL Raider linebacker vet. Holding down that number 52 for life. The great, the one and only Kirk Morrison.
Welcome.
Thank y'all for having me, man. Thank y'all for bringing me in. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to expect, but the way y'all starting this thing off, we're going to have a good time tonight.
We're going to have a great time.
It's like everyone comes on here is like, yeah, we're going to do an intro, and then we just start yelling.
Y'all start going. I'm like, okay, I see what time it is now.
It's very real. Well,
Very
thank you.
real.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Kirk.
No doubt.
So happy. So let's just jump right in. Growing up in Oakland,
The town.
Where did it all start for you?
You know what, man? It started probably, I would say, man, when I was about the age of 7. It started. Just because you got to think, I grew up in, a single parent household. You know, my mom, my dad got married. They had me, and 2 years later, they divorced.
Wow.
So I grew up knowing, 2 Christmases, 2 birthday parties, 2 everything.
Wow.
Because I had my mom's side and I had my dad's side.
So you were bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, but it wasn't, to me, I thought that was normal.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And it was normal as far as where I grew up at. Not a lot of kids had their dads like living with them or in their life to that point.
Yeah.
And so I grew up like that, and I thought it was that was the norm. Hey, my dad was always working, and I would go see him on every other weekend, and I was with my mom for the majority of the time. And then I had I have a brother, and we have different dads, same mom, that we actually lived together. Wow. So it was me, him, my mom. It was just us 3. And so when you talk about growing up, having that leadership role in your household, like I'm 7 years old and I'm the man of the house.
Wow.
Like it was real.
Did you feel it at the time like that?
I mean, I had to be. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like my younger.
So it was really apparent at that time.
Really, I mean, because as I'm growing up, my mom is telling me things and what I need to do, and this is what you have to do. And, I'm riding a bus by myself, me and my brother, at 7 and 5 years old. Like, think about that.
Oh, man.
But we were in an area, too, where my mom, the first week walked us to the bus stop, and you knew who the bus driver was. So when you walked to the bus stop and you were there, the bus driver knew, okay, these 2 kids are getting picked up. I know where I'm dropping them off at. And then when school was over, they know I had to be there, and it was just a regular bus that, like, it's not like an actual yellow bus. It's actually
just like the metro,
like a metro, and it was wild, man, because my mom was she worked for the Oakland Police Department, so a lot of my family was all Oakland police.
Really?
Yeah, Oakland police.
That's
so
an interesting dynamic.
It's real interesting too, especially
how was
on.
the city at that time?
The city was it was cool. It wasn't like how it is now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
it was still, you had dangerous parts.
Yeah.
I grew up in a part that was very dangerous too, but it was an era too in which a lot of people just were kind of. It's crazy to think of where we are now.
Yeah.
With as far as social media, just cell phones, content, cable, all that stuff. It's just different.
Yeah.
And the way we got our news was just different. And I'm thinking, like, back when I was younger, and at that time, I always remember, like, a lot of things happened in my life that I just witnessed and I remember. Like, 1989, it was an earthquake. One of the earthquakes that people, talk about. It not canceled, but it postponed the World Series between the Giants and the A's. Like people say oh, earthquakes. I'm not scared of an earthquake. I'm not necessarily scared of an earthquake, but I've seen
the damage,
cars shake.
Bro,
I've seen.
I am terrified of earthquakes. I fucking hate earthquakes, dude.
I'm now when I earthquake, I just get in between a doorway, wait it out, and then just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
I pray that earthquakes don't happen at night because I'll sleep through them.
Yeah.
First of all, Kirk, for those who don't know Kirk,
Yeah.
Kirk is a very large man.
Very big dude.
He was a linebacker for the Raiders.
Right.
He's 6'2".
Yeah. I say about 255.
250.
Okay. Solid.
If an earthquake comes, Kirk will stop the earthquake.
I wish.
Kirk puts his hands on the ground and shakes the earthquake.
Man.
Yeah. But I mean, it was just little things like that I remember, and like it was me, my mom, my brother, and I'm like looking outside, and I'm a big baseball fan. You know, love the Giants. You know, love the A's. Those were my teams growing up, and so I remember it was a night of the World Series, and I'm seeing my mom is about to leave to go to the actual game, and I had a babysitter, so we're waiting on a babysitter to get to my place, and I look outside, and I'm like, Mom, why the car shaking? And she's like, get over it. And this is like so vivid. I'm 7 years old. Like this, like some stuff you see on a movie, like a scary movie. Like, Mom, why are the cars moving?
Oh,
and they
no
like just
way.
swaying back and forth, and we see it all. And the next thing I know, you know, you hear these loud booms and this commotion and ambulance and freaking fire engines and police sirens. And 3 blocks from where I grew up at, from my house, the freaking freeway, the Cypress Freeway collapsed. I don't know if you ever saw that freeway that snapped.
No,
Yeah.
I've seen that picture.
Yes.
That was right near where you lived?
Right where I lived at.
Oh,
so you got to think like walking down there to this day is still eerie because that whole place is now regentrified. But it's just like seeing that, man, like it was just, to me, it was ruins. You know, like
What'd that do to you? Like what? How transformative was that?
yeah, it's just it's wild, man. It I saw it to where you're like on that side of Oakland, like once you get underneath the freeway,
Yeah.
it's scary down there. You know, it was the hood down there. You know, like the real like
Yeah.
You know,
During
and
the
I
time you
lived
grew up.
during the time I grew up, and you know when that went down, you know that just scared a lot of people, man. You got to think that was like that was the connection from San Francisco to the East Bay.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like first you have the Bay Bridge, which is iconic enough.
Yeah.
And you got to remember the upper deck of that collapsed.
Oh.
So it was just, man, like just those are the things that I like remember.
And that takes a lot of time to rebuild.
Yeah.
No?
Oh, I mean, honestly, they still haven't finished yet. You know, this happened in 1989. They just finishing up the Bay Bridge section of it. They reopened that part of the freeway. They redid it, you know, because that's major transport over there, you know? So, you know, had to just living through that. And I keep talking about like little things in which that I witnessed, and I had to be like the father figure, man. It was wild. Like even to this day, I still feel like, you know, my brother, he's 2 years younger than me, but I'm like, you know, still feel like I'm a parent to him. You know what I mean? And it's just always been that way. But my dad was always in my life, so you know, he was just, but he just taught me so much work ethic. Like, if the one thing that like, you know what I'm saying? Like I told my dad, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like if you pass away, Dad, like I don't know. Like I might tell people this is the first day off you've had in years, because that's all I know. And I got it from him. And we definitely talk and we connect on a different level as far as what sports kind of bring us together. You know what I mean? And so like that's what I always had. I knew like when I was going to go see my dad, it was going to be that. And when I was with my mom, a little more loose, you know what I'm saying? But I just got into sports. Like for some, like I'm not saying sports saved my life, but it gave me structure.
Was that at 7 years old?
Yeah.
Was your dad? Do you come from a sports background?
No, my dad never. I don't even know if he played in high school. He like, you know, back in the day, he was like one of them street park ballers. I don't know what he was. I don't think he even played in high school. You know, my dad went to the military for a little while, and then.
So you came up in like a very like rigid, structured family.
Yeah, structure. Like my dad, you know, was in the military, came back. He worked for the county in the city of Oakland.
Got it.
My mom, like I said, was with Oakland Police Department. My aunt was Oakland Police Department.
Was their relationship friendly?
Who then? Oh yeah, they was always best friends.
Cool.
Like it wasn't, you know, nothing. I just knew my grandmother was a piece of work. You know what I'm saying? So So I was like, my mom always tells me like, oh yeah, your grandma was a piece of work. So I get it. You know, we can laugh about it, and you know, like I said, I grew up with and like everybody's best friends. Everybody's cool, and it's always been that way. It's been a great dynamic. And so that always made it easier for me to be able to take on that role and learn from my dad, and then be able to do that, because a majority of my time, I was going to be with, my mom and my brother.
Yeah.
And so that's where you had to learn it, man. Like I had to be up in the morning. Hey, let's go. Because now it wasn't about just me. It was about setting him up, setting an example. Hey, we got to go. We got to get up. Hey, that bus, we got to be outside 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, the bus is leaving at 8:05. Wow. So we not there. The bus going to leave us. And I always remember one day, we got in trouble for something, man. My mom we were in trouble. We're probably like 8 and 6 years old or something like that. And I remember we were down about something. Yeah. We were walking slumped to the bus stop. Like we weren't even looking. And I remember the bus, we were probably, I would say, about a block away from the bus stop. And we were just so like hurt. I don't know what we were hurt about, but the bus stopped a block before the actual bus stop and was like, "You guys riding?" And we were like, "Wow!" Like we were so zoned out that the bus driver didn't know that it was us two who take the bus every day. Wow. He just passed us up, and it was just like that's when I realized, like, look, dude, whatever, like, snap out of it. Let's move on. Let's go.
At such a young age.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's always been like that for me, though.
That's wild to me.
And like, kind of as I keep going through my story, it's just part of like who I am. Like I've been a captain, when I was in the NFL. I was a captain in high school. I was a captain in my Pop Warner team. That leadership role was always something that I really relish. I enjoyed. I enjoyed setting an example. And I'm not really the guy who's going to grab you like, this is what you got to do. I lead by example.
Yes.
You want to see hard work. You want to see this how I do it. This is what I do. This is how I get done. And if I don't see you in that same kind of light, that same kind of direction, I'm not saying I can't trust you, but you got to understand that this is the way I do things.
Yeah.
And you got to learn how to do it, not my way, but let me see that you put in the same time, the same effort, and the same work.
Yeah.
And I get it, man.
You set the bar.
You got to set the bar.
That's interesting.
That's incredible that it was so early.
Yeah, at 7 years old. Wait, so did you gravitate towards football or just sports in general?
Sports in general. So it's like another kind of a backstory. So I grew up in Oakland, West Oakland, and I lived across the street from a park. And I remember, going across to the park and we would play, as I got older, I'm 5, now I'm 6. And I remember when I was 7 years old. I remember I got there at 7 years old, and they were always practicing baseball across. And I always thought I was too young. I was 5 and I was 6. My mom was like, I want to go play baseball.
Were you big though?
No. Like I said, I didn't really start gaining weight until I got to college. So I got into a weight program. So I was just a small guy, more small kid, just average. And my mom, one day I was like, Mom, I want to go play baseball. Like I want to go across the street. They're always playing, and I was so into sports, and I was playing them, but I wasn't playing, recreationally or in a league. And I remember one day she's like, let's go over there. So we go over there, and it was like, oh yeah, sign up to this, and you just that. And I was already a natural because I had been playing, but I hadn't played structure. So finally, I went over there, started playing t-ball at the age of 7, and the league that I played with, or the team that I played for, was an actual fraternity. There was a Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity baseball league.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Or the team. So like one of the and Kappa Alpha Psi, which is another part of later on is a fraternity that I ended up joining.
The Kappas
and pledging.
And Omega. Yeah.
So I ended up pledging that when I was in college. And it's crazy that I go all the way back to them to when I was 7 years old when they
it was almost written at that point.
It was crazy. It's weird how all this stuff comes back, because it was a fraternity, and a lot of their base was in Oakland. They had what they call the Kappa House, which was a house that was built for the fraternity, and they were always, and their mission was to give back to the youth and give back to the community. So they started a baseball league, a baseball team. And I went over there, and it was crazy because, like I said, I had my dad in my life, but he wasn't there every single day. Whereas I went over there, and these men who didn't know me or whatever were like that father figure for a lot of us youth in that area.
Sure.
And showed us how to play baseball, and like, it's crazy that sort of inspired me to not only be at practice every day, get good grades every day, but when I got older, I realized what those men were doing for us, because they don't have those same programs and things right now to this day. And that's why you don't see a lot of African-American boys playing baseball. You know what I mean? Black kids don't play baseball anymore, really.
It's wild.
They play basketball. They play, you know, football. That's what you see on TV. You just can't go to your local park and go have someone teach you how to play those games. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Like baseball, you need someone to instruct you.
Yes. It's such a structured
game. It's kind of like a lifetime development in the sport,
man.
too, man.
It truly is. You got to start now from then. So if you don't have that structure, or now you don't have the money to do it, that's another thing. It's like a lot of the kids who you see playing in the major leagues or growing up playing in all these different leagues, all that stuff costs.
It does.
That stuff ain't cheap.
Yeah, it's not.
But man, yeah, it's like so many stories, because I was starting it with Kappa baseball, and I started playing that, and I learned how to play the game, and like along the way, my brother's 2 years younger than me, but he started back then too. So he was always 2 years behind me. So I was like, I set the tone, set the tempo, set the bar, and then he would always just kind of fall behind, and he just learned.
Let me ask you, growing up and kind of just from the nature of the relationship between you and your brother, growing up, did you feel that, was he the younger brother that looked up to the older brother and always followed suit? Or was it like you noticed a resentment, or just kind of like the younger brother like not wanting to follow the older brother? Or was it like the younger brother wanting to impress the older brother at all times? Because you know how kids go through that kind of like growing up,
right?
You know what I mean? And
sometimes they want to they want to find their own identity.
You know, my mom had kind of defined it for us one time, where it just kind of happened. Not really just kind of happened, it's just kind of just the way we were. Was that my mom would always say, Kirk is my athlete and my brother name is Kelvin. Kelvin is my student.
Wow.
And so, like, when you're younger, you don't really understand that. But my brother was into video games heavy. I was into video game, but only sports.
Yeah.
He was into, like, you know, Legend of Zelda.
Gamers are so smart, dog. It's crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's into all the games in which, like, you know, like memorization. You know, all that, like, you know, all those types of games. I'm into like combat. You know, I'm into sports, you know. But he was into like, you know, like Legend of Zeldas and what's Sim Cities.
Super like strategy games.
Yeah, strategy games where, you know, it's like, okay, I'm building this here. I'm about to build this fort here, this city here.
Yeah.
Like, that was him.
Like Warcraft.
Yeah.
And all that.
But he still played sports, but it wasn't his love.
Got it.
And so, but you know, ultimately we just kept doing it throughout because it gave us structure. It was something for us to do every single day. So we were playing that. And then I got into basketball, got into football when I was about 11.
Okay.
And yeah, so I grew up and we went to public school first.
Okay.
So my mom said it's a public school. Everything was cool. And then I think like one day, like something happened. Like it was just too much going on at school one day.
Really?
I didn't get into a fight, but I think it was a fight, and like somebody had brought a knife. I'm like second grade, like, and my mom was like, you know, she was like, I can't send you here anymore. I got to send you to private school. So I ended up going to a Catholic school.
In what grade?
This was third grade.
Got it.
So I started Catholic school from third grade. My brother was in the first grade, and I went to Catholic school all the way up into college.
Oh, wow.
Because I even went to Catholic high school.
Wow.
So
what was that like?
It's crazy because, you know, you live in a certain area.
Yeah.
But yet you go to a school in a certain area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the dynamic was different because a lot of kids who I played sports with in the urban setting, you know what I'm saying? Was like they went to like all the public schools and all the public high schools and all that stuff. And I was all friends with them, but when you like, oh, I go to this school, and then when I went to that high school, like, oh, you a preppy, you know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily like a sellout, but you more like, oh, you don't kind of belong to us, you know what I'm saying?
What was that like? Did you like ever feel kind of left out because, I mean, of just feeling that like that pressure or
No, you feel it.
Yeah, you feel it. Yeah.
You feel it. Like, you know, you didn't go to the hood school, or you didn't go to, oh, you from, but you went to the school on the hill. Like, I got that a lot. You know what I mean?
It's crazy when at that age, like, where privilege is kind of looked down upon.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you trying to be down and like you from this area, but privilege is kind of shunned.
And it was different because some, like, the guys who I knew, they were like, I was cool with everybody.
Yeah.
Because I played sports at such an early age in
Were you always
Oakland.
like the leader of the pack in sports? Or did it like become later?
It became sort of later.
Okay.
But I played in Oakland to where that age group, we all grew up together in the city. So here you have the sports teams, sports leagues. And I was playing in them since I was 6. So from 6 to like 14, you kind of know, like, at least in my database, like 150, 200 kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just thinking about that every single year, you learn new kids or people around the league. So it may be even more than that. And then when we all went to high school, we all knew each other.
Got it.
But I didn't go to the high schools in the area. I went to high school in Oakland, but it was more of the prestigious, you know,
suburban
US,
communities.
Yeah, U.S. Board of Excellence, you know, Bishop O'Dowd High School, you know what I mean? So that's how it was. And talking to folks about it, like, you know, even still like, oh, man, like, oh, what school? Because a lot of people thought I went to, like, oh, you from Oakland? Yeah, what school did you go to? And I'm like, I went to Bishop O'Dowd. Like, oh, okay.
All right.
Really? Well, it depends on who you talk to. Like, certain people, like, oh, like, it's more of a school of privilege. Like, oh, like, damn, like, oh, your parents got money. Or this is not like, no, my parents didn't get money. It wasn't like that at all. Like, my mom had to cash in her retirement early from the police department to like, okay, like, I'm going to send you here. So I'm investing in your future. Yeah, she invested in my future.
What was it like
big time
in the school side of things, coming from where you lived?
Was it predominantly white at that school?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like 1,050. You dealt with backlash kids from the hood.
Yeah.
Because you were going to a privileged school. Was it, were you accepted in the predominantly white school, or was it kind of like another thing you had to deal with?
Yeah, it was. Our school was really wasn't diverse to a degree.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of the kids who, you know, for as far as the black guys, all play sports. You know, play basketball, football, baseball, but they all came from, you know, wealthy backgrounds. I would say certain areas within the city, because, you know, when you kind of go there, like, it's a wait list. Like, it's, you know, it's a really college preparatory. You drive in, there's one way in, one way out kind of high school. You go to first period,
very insulated.
You miss second period, you go to third period, they'll know you missed second period and will find you and say, where were you at? Type thing. Yeah, like, it was buttoned up. It was strict, but, you know, it was cool because I learned, honestly, it set me up for college, you know, because I had to I was able to relate to so many different races. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you see people Asian descent, Indian descent, you see white, you see, you know, other black, you see mixed, you know, black, you see, you know, Spanish, you see, like, everything.
Yeah.
And, like, to a point where at that high school, even though predominantly white, I never saw color.
Yeah.
Especially when you play football too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't see color.
It's
and like, the dudes on my team, we were tight like that.
Yeah.
And there were certain areas, certain aspect of things that, you know, like, I was sort of blind to back then, you know, because I didn't see it. I'm just here to go to school. I don't see all that. But there are certain things that you had to deal with, you know, obviously, because, you know, a lot of parents pay a lot of money for their kids to go there. And, you know, some kids do some things and they may let it slide where somebody else does something and you're suspended or you're kicked out. So we saw a lot of that.
Little double standard.
Yeah, double standard is real. And so, you know, I saw all of that growing up. But, you know, I was so committed to school. Like, I was there to go to school. And
You knew you had an opportunity. You knew what was sacrificed for that, and you were going to give it your all. Was that the mentality, or was it kind of like you were going to take advantage of every opportunity in front of you?
It didn't happen to me until my junior year.
What happened?
So when I got to high school, I was just doing okay.
Okay.
I would, make my grades, whatever. And I was like at a, C+, B- student. You know what I mean? And to me, I was doing fine. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize it then, but what I was doing was just being average. Mm-hmm. I was just being average. But average was fine to me. Like, it was good. I mean, there was other people who had better grades and did all that. I'm like, whatever. I mean, shit, you get a high school degree, it's a high school degree. Like, what's gonna make you different from me? Yeah. But I realized, like, the more you accomplish, the perception of you. You get what I mean? Like, when I got out of high school, when people said, what school high school did you went to? And I tell them I went to Bishop O'Dowd, they're like, oh, shit. Like, they like, oh, like you went to, like, college preparatory high school. You know what I'm saying? It's like basically saying, like, you went to college and you went to, like, Harvard or Princeton. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in that area. Yeah. That's how that high school was. And I'm like, and at the time I felt like I wasn't pulling my weight. And what really helped it out was that I remember sophomore year going into my junior year. At the end of my sophomore year, it's probably like May or June. School was about to end, and there was like some colleges that were coming in to recruit. And so my freshman year, I played freshman football. Okay. And everybody was like, okay. They were like, you should play You should have played JV. And I was like, no, I play freshman. I'm not really worried about it. Like, yeah. And then my sophomore year, they was like, you should try out for varsity. And I was like, nah, I just play JV.
Wow. So you were really accepting.
Wait, I want to get into this for a second. Because, in high school football, were you a big dude then? Because you know how there's those man-childs. Right. Were you one of those dudes? No, you weren't.
6 foot, 180 in high school.
Wow. That's still
soaking wet, 190.
Yeah, but that's still pretty big.
That was like my senior year, but like my junior year, sophomore year, I was like, I remember because I always had my ID. My freshman year in high school, I was 5'9", 150.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
what do you think it was that,
or 5'10", 150? Yeah.
What do you think it was back then? Because like, I know a lot of cats that get into like the high school sports, like they want to be in varsity. Yeah. Like if somebody tells them, look, they're a freshman, you got a shot at varsity, they're just gonna try it.
No brainer.
What was it for you at that time? If you look back on it, like that, you were like, sophomore year JV, like cool.
Like, really,
I'm good.
So freshman football, I played the entire season. And I was out there killing. Like, I was out there balling. I was like, yo, we don't play JV. I'm like, well, I want to play JV. Like, I'm not going to play. You know what I mean?
Were you linebacker?
Juniors. Yeah, I was linebacker, running back.
Okay.
Got it.
I was like, I want to play freshman so I can get the ball. So I'm out there killing.
Got it.
I think we lost maybe one game or something.
Yeah.
Just running over people.
So my sophomore year came, and I'm like, all right. I forgot how it happened. I was like, yeah, I'm going to play JV. And so played JV, and I was out there killing again.
Really?
Like playing tailback, linebacker, and like the first 3-4 games, like we were undefeated too. And then we played against this one school, and I remember this is my sophomore year, and we were just killing them. And then the next game, we played the other school, and we lost. Mm-hmm. But my coach called me. The head varsity coach called me because he asked me, like, do you want to play varsity? And I was like, no. She's like, why? You don't want to play varsity? I was like, I don't want to play varsity because I'm not going to get better. Like, varsity, I can play that. Yeah. I'll play my junior and senior year.
Why were you? Because like you were going to be
so
on.
You
like
had that in mind, like, you know what? I want to get game experience as opposed to just like being on.
Just playing like dummy D and.
But be real, all the homies was on JV.
See, he's trying to make it like, Coach, I want to learn. Oh, and little do we know, it's like, I just want to hang out with the homies.
Yeah, all the homies was on JV.
Got it.
And it was wait, hold on, let me see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it was 3 sophomores on varsity.
Got it.
3 of them.
Wow.
And all of them on varsity didn't play. They were just on the team.
Getting beat up in
Actually,
in
no, it
practice.
was 4 of them. That's what it was. 4 of them. I
Okay.
remember my boy Gabe, Chad, Corey, and I forgot who that was. But they had the uniform on.
Yeah.
And on Friday nights after the JV game, they sat there and they would look good in warm-ups and then on the sideline the whole game.
I feel you.
And I'm like,
hell no.
I'm not doing that. And I was like, Coach, nah, I'm just going to play JV. He was like, you don't want to play varsity? I was like, no, I'm going to play here. I'm going to go play. I'm going to have a good time, be with my homies. Like, my friend. And that was real. Yeah. So we went out there and like, we was having fun. Like, we was turning up and we was like, because a lot of my dudes who play with me on JV, we all played Pop Warner football.
Got it.
So we had like that relationship. And so we was kind of bringing the urban flair, the urban mentality to, this predominantly white high school. We got all the dudes turning up. We acted crazy. We winning games. We like stunting. It was off the chain.
Y'all doing diddy bops in there? Oh,
we doing all of that. Yeah. I mean, we wearing half tops, like our jerseys, all of that stuff. Like, we was like just.
Y'all were trendsetters.
And then we had a coach who I remember on the JV, they brought him in, and he got us like all these towels, and we all like had names on them. Like everybody had their like names. Like you had a nickname. Like me, I think I was the Hammer. You know what I'm saying?
Kirk the Hammer Morrison.
Yeah, that was it. It was because it was Hammer time. And then my other homie was like Gunsmoke. You know what I'm saying?
I feel y'all.
So we used to be out there with like our towels hanging, and like we looked more intimidating, and we had more fun on the JV. And the varsity was like, damn. And my boys who was on the varsity like, man, I should have played JV. Like, man, this is fun. Because JV practice would end at like 5 o'clock. You go home. Varsity practice like till 7. I'm like, man, I'm out. But I remember Coach, he says, look, man. He called me after, I played 5 games. And then,
was your varsity team like really competitive?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We was legit. Yeah, we, so like that 6th game, I always remember it was the 6th game of the year. We were playing against our rival. And we went out there, we played, and we lost. And I remember that. I was hurt. I was lost. We lost. Varsity played that night. Varsity won. So I'm like, all right. That weekend, Coach called me. He was like, all right, it's done. It's over with now. I was like, what's over with? He said, yeah, you're playing varsity Monday. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you're playing varsity on Monday. The whole JV thing, it's over with. You can now play varsity. So I was like, damn.
He's like, you had your fun, son.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So, because we had 6 games left on the varsity.
Oh, my God.
And then, so I remember that day on Monday, like the word didn't really get out yet. Because the one thing that was cool was that the varsity, you wore your uniform to school on Fridays. Right. And, the sophomores, like, I'm on varsity. All the ladies knew. So I remember, man, that week nobody really knew. Yeah. So Monday I go out and everybody was like, Kurt, where you going? It's like, man, I'm going to practice. And I was like, but we practice. I was like, man, I'm on the varsity now. So my JV guys didn't know.
Wow.
And I was like, so the word started getting around. Yeah. It was like, oh, you think you hard now? This and that.
Oh, God.
And then I remember going out to varsity practice, and man, it was tough because I was a freshman. I mean, I was a sophomore, but I had to, you had to do all the grunt work, because you're a sophomore, and I wasn't going to play. That's the thing. I knew I wasn't going to play.
Just playing dummy D,
just like dummy defense, and you playing like the scout team and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, but you're going to get better because you're going to practice with these guys. You're gonna
getting run over.
Yeah, I'm like, man, whatever. But I remember that first Friday, and I had my jersey on. Everybody was looking at me like, oh, you on varsity?
Oh, yeah. So it was
nobody really knew. Like, the people at school didn't know. But the only thing that would show if you was on varsity or JV by the jersey you wore. So I would wear my JV jersey. And it was like, all right. But when you wear that varsity jersey, it's like a respect from the ladies, from the dude, the teachers, everybody. So I played varsity for the rest of the year. Played a little bit. And, we didn't lose a game. We only tied one game.
Got it.
The second game I was on the squad. We tied that game. And then, but we ended up winning the championship my sophomore year. So that was great, just being on this championship team my sophomore year, that feeling. It was respect. And then my junior year, that's when I really kind of start taking over, playing running back, linebacker. And You know, we lost 2 games, but we ended up playing a team that beat us earlier. We ended up beating them in the playoffs, and we won a championship. So we going
that year too.
Yeah, going that year. So we going into my senior year now. So senior year is all
it's on.
It's on.
It's on. And you had a different focus at that time. Just like now, it was serious. You were in it.
So it go back. I'll rewind just to my sophomore year real quick.
Yeah.
That my sophomore year, I was walking into the gymnasium one time. My coach had stopped me and he said, "Oh yeah, some coaches came." I said, "Coach, I seen some coaches come by, man. Like, what's up? You know, like, I'm thinking like, oh man, they talking about me, because I hadn't played, but I was just trying to figure out what's up." Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Unfortunately, they can't recruit you." I was like, "Recruit me?" I was like, "Why?" Because a couple schools that were in there, it was like Stanford and somebody else. And I was like, "Yeah, they can't recruit you." I was like, "Why?" It's like, "Because your grades are not that. Because your grade point average is not like Stanford. Like Stanford can't recruit you." I was like, "Why? Why can't recruit me?" He said, "Look at your grades."
Oh,
like
wow.
you can't go to Stanford. I was like, "What?"
And that was sophomore year.
Yeah, sophomore year, end of my sophomore year. It's like Stanford can't recruit you. A lot of schools can't recruit you. You have no idea what you're doing.
Oh,
because when schools call in to see like, "Oh, how is this kid? We want to recruit him." "Oh, this is grade point average." "Oh man, so he's not even eligible, or we don't know if he'll be eligible because you may have a bad semester and your cumulative GPA dropped below, and
done.
We don't even know if you can pass the SAT." Like, it was all kind of stuff. So that year going into my junior year, like, I just buckled down and I raised my GPA up. I really started going to school because, and then I played baseball too my sophomore year too. I meant to say I played baseball because I was still my love, you know?
Yeah.
And then at the end of my junior year, that's when I had that talk with my coach. He was like, "Son, you're playing baseball, you're doing all these things. That's why I brought you up to varsity. You have an opportunity to get your college paid for. You have an opportunity that a lot of these other players around the school don't have."
What was it he saw in you?
Well, I think he saw the potential. You know, obviously, we talk about the leadership role because I was a captain of the JV team, freshman team. You know, kind of when I walked around, you know, school and campus, you know, obviously, it was one of the guys that sat at the head of the table, kind of thing. And he just saw those qualities in me and was just saying, don't shut that door on yourself. You know, so I was like, all right. And I listened to him, man, because that was hard hearing that. You know, like, man,
something that you have control of, actually.
Yes, that's something like no one can blame.
Yeah,
you can't blame anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, damn. So all right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up.
Yeah.
And I remember I tightened up and did my thing and raised my GPA up, and I still wasn't getting the calls and stuff from the colleges yet. You know, I'm going into my senior year now. So my whole junior year, I tightened everything up, and I didn't do anything yet. So I remember my GPA was right. I just had to pass the SAT. And so we had to take it like during the football season. And I had some calls then, but nothing really. I had any scholarship offers.
Yeah.
And then I took my SAT and I got a nice little score. I was eligible. Boom. And that's when I started getting calls and offers.
Wow. So they were like waiting in the background.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was a huge game changer for you.
Huge, man.
Wow.
It was huge. And so I had some offers from some schools, and then football was going well. So like my senior year was just off the chain, man.
At that time, did you realize or have the thought like you wanted to eventually go pro, or was this just a way to kind of take you to the next level, get you through college, get a good education from a good school?
Yeah.
Or did you think like I'm doing everything I can to make sports my life? Or was it just not like that? It was just kind of.
It was just. I was just trying to be the first person from the family to graduate from college.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom didn't go to college. My dad didn't go to college.
Wow.
Grandma didn't go to college. You know.
Wow.
That just that wasn't for them. You know, growing up in the '60s and the '70s. You know that they didn't have that background. Like my mom, you know, grew up in a family of 8.
Wow.
You know, my dad had a family of 3, but that wasn't their thing. You know what I mean, they built who they were off just working. Like when you turn 18 back then, you go work or you go to the army.
So the motivation was being a college graduate.
Yeah, for me, just going to college. I mean, obviously, I kind of knew the commitment my mom made. So just being able to get a scholarship to go to college, that was her like her hard work paying off. Like she invested in me. Like,
all through high school, yeah.
I'm like, dang, you know, I'm thinking now, like, I got kids. I'm like, hey, take me on my retirement. Hold on. Like, man, you better do something. But it's real.
It really is.
I'm in I'm in a situation now where I'm thinking, like, my kids, I got to make that decision. She made it for me. So I had to, you know, get a scholarship. You know what? I ended up doing that. And, you know, my senior year was one to remember, man. I passed, my SATs. I was getting recruited, and I went on some trips. Man, I tripped to Las Vegas to go to UNLV because they had a good squad at the time. Like they was changing their program around. San Diego State, Washington, Arizona, like all these different schools came in. I'm like, wow. I kind of got strong-armed by San Diego State, which was fine. Now that I look at it, was like the best decision I ever made.
Okay. When you say strong arm, like what was?
Because they always, the college is like, well, we need to know. I mean, are you going to commit to us or not? If you don't, I was like, I got a couple other trips lined up.
Oh, they gave.
It's like, well, we need to know about it. So if you don't commit by Sunday, then we gotta, you know, we're gonna go kind of look elsewhere. I'm like, dang. I'm like, I want to go take this other trip, you know, see how it is.
Were you interested in San Diego State genuinely at the time, or were there some other schools you were kind of hoping to go to?
Did they have a really good program then too?
They had a decent program. It was in California, and then I had two of my best friends also went on the trip with me. You know, like my best friend from high school, and then one of my best friends who played on the rival high school, and we all three went there, and so we tripped to San Diego. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let's just go here. Let's see how it is. And the trip was amazing. And like I said, I had a trip to Vegas. In Vegas, you know, I was 17 years old, man. And I was, I don't know if this podcast's ready for my 17-year-old Vegas trip, man. Yeah, I'm 17. Think about it. You 17 years old. I got my own room at the MGM Grand.
They lacing
we talking about this in '99. I went to Planet Hollywood to go eat. We had dinner at Planet Hollywood. I thought that was like Ruth Chris Mastro's time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it was. I'm like, oh, this is cracking. Like, and then like, so we went out, and I'm not 21. I'm 17, but I'm with the guys on the team. It was like, what you want to do? Man, I didn't drink or smoke nothing like that. I was square in high school. Like I didn't touch nothing. Sure. I was like, but I want to go to, you know, I go to a club. So I was like, cool. They take me to Rum Jungle. 21 years old. I'm 17. I went in there and I was popping. Ladies everywhere. Like, it was, oh man, I'm the man.
You in Sin City at 17,
Sin City at 17. Active. And I remember I woke up the next day, which was Saturday. And I had like 4 or 5 dudes in my room. Didn't even know them, but they was all on the squad, so they all crashed at my spot.
Yeah.
Wow. And I woke up and I was like, all right, it was cool. But then we did it again Saturday night. And I had, you know, Sunday was the day I was leaving. And like Sunday, I was like, I can't go here.
I feel you.
I
feel you.
So I was like, if this is gonna be what my college is, I'm not gonna make it. I'm serious.
Yeah, it's like
I'm not
Vegas
gonna make it
every time. Like I still can't make it past like 48 hours in Vegas.
Yeah. So at 17, but I'm like, this is like amazing. But I woke up with like dudes in my room that even know.
Yeah.
And like
homie just crashed out.
I'm like, dude, is this every week like this? Like this is just, and this was like a December. God knows what it looked like. And this is before pool parties, and this was when Vegas was just VIP. This is 1999. Wow. There wasn't even bottle service yet. Just think about that.
Wow.
Remember, it's like you get a wristband to go into a club, and you was just the VIP. Was a better area for you to get drinks.
Yeah.
Like.
I can't go here.
I was like, I can't go here. So I ended up making a decision to go to San Diego State.
Cool.
And then kind of the rest was history, man. Came down to San Diego and.
Well, what was that like getting into college football? Like just the pace of it, the players of it, the seriousness of it, and balancing that with also, you know, the academics. Because in college, was there, you know, a vibe of people aiming to go pro out of there? What was that like during the college football years coming from high school?
Coming from high school, I I never even thought about the NFL.
Wow.
I really did. I still didn't think about. People act like, oh, you went to college and think. No, I didn't.
That's wild.
I had a coach who I really respect him. Oh, yeah, watch out, man. There you go. Yeah. Bugs and stuff in here. I had a college I had a coach I really respect. And he just kept it to me real. Like, it was 22 or 23 of us, freshmen, inside of the, on our freshman orientation.
Got it.
And he said, look, when you guys come here, it's about getting an education. Your students first, athletes second.
Wow.
I'm like, this is just coach talk.
Yeah.
But, and he gave me the numbers, how many guys are in college football and how many guys actually make the NFL. He said, you know what that means? And he said, I remember he told one of the guys, hey, stand up. So one guy stood up. It's 23 of you. And he said, after the end of your guy's college career, the numbers say that only one person, this guy right here, is going to make the NFL. Not necessarily him, but just the numbers.
Yeah.
Just one out of that entire
23.
room.
1 out of 23. I said, if you're lucky, you make it too. It's like, well, I need to get an education.
Was that like really eye-opening for you?
It was eye-opening, but I wasn't even thinking about the NFL yet. For me, it was just
like opportunity.
Yeah.
I get to play sports.
Yeah, I'm going to
and
college.
I'm a student athlete, and we in San Diego.
Everything you just said. I'm in San Diego. I'm going to college. I'm living by, I can go to the beach. I'm playing football. Like, all of that was just, it was amazing. So I'm, practicing with the squad, and I didn't play my first year. I redshirted.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So, but it was one of the reasons why I went there as well. They had 2 seniors who were playing. So if I redshirted my redshirt freshman year, I would have opportunity to play. At least some. I wouldn't know about starting. I didn't know. But, for me, I just went out there, just was doing my thing, and I was like the scout team player of the year as a freshman,
Did you start to build in your size then?
So when I got to college, I weighed 208.
Okay.
I stepped on the scale at 208, 6'1", and my redshirt freshman year, the next year when I started playing, I weighed in at 230 pounds.
Ooh.
So I gained like 22 pounds of muscle.
You went on a huge weight build regimen.
Yeah. So it was. You got to think, when you redshirt, you lift 4 or 5 days a week.
Got it.
And like, you just straight up 4 or 5 days, and you getting it for like all year long.
Yeah.
So I was prepared, and I felt like I wasn't mentally, I wasn't ready. Physically, I knew I wasn't ready, and I didn't mind redshirt. You
do you think that time helped you?
Yeah, it did, because I was kind of, you still get to go party on the weekends.
Yeah.
I get to live the college experience. If I was a freshman, I wouldn't really get a chance to do that. Like, if I was playing, I wouldn't get to do that.
Got it.
So, the football team, when they travel, like, if you're a redshirt, you stay at home. So we at home, and we went to the parties all weekend, and we hung out. We really had a college experience. And then, like, the next year, it was like totally changed, totally different, but.
Well, just because joining the team
playing
now, and it's just so serious, and just now
serious.
It's just it's strict.
Yeah, it's strict, man. It was strict, and so my redshirt freshman year.
Were you ready for that? Because there's got to be an amount of sacrifice for that,
Yeah, like the first time I got out there, like I practiced all off season, and I was the backup to the guy who they moved from another position to my position, and I was his backup. And so I was like, all right, going in, I'm just a backup. So my freshman year, it's all good, whatever. And so 4th game of the year, we're playing against this team, Air Force. That's what we're playing against. And my buddy, who was the starter, gets hit or blocked on the knee, chop blocked on the knee.
Took out his knee.
He took out his knee, limped off, and I'm like, oh man. And I'm like, Kirk, get in there. I go in there. And I go in there, and I finished the game off, made some plays, did some things. And then I remember that week, I'm like, oh man, hopefully he's okay. And then I found out, he tore his ACL. He's done for the year. So I'm like, all right, here I am, a freshman.
Yeah.
Just the time I am now 19, I think.
Yeah.
18, 19.
Yeah.
And I remember coach, I'm 19 now, because it was my second year. So I'm 19 years old, and I remember the coach comes up and says, he had the meeting and said, look here, gentlemen, this is what's going on. Our new middle linebacker is Kirk Morrison. Now we're going to rally around him, but he's going to be our guy, so we got to do this. I know he's a freshman, this and that. And I was just like, I didn't know what was kind of put on me yet. I was a freshman. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, okay. And I was kind of nervous, and like a lot of my boys who I came to school with, they were all backup. Some of them weren't playing, and here I am as a freshman. I was the only freshman on the team that was playing. Wow, like that was a starter.
And a middle linebacker, man.
Middle linebacker, that's a freshman.
Oh my god!
So I remember I go out there, and my first start of my college career is against the Eastern Illinois Panthers.
Okay.
And their starting quarterback was Anthony Romero.
Oh, God. Fuck.
But we all know him as Tony Romo.
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Antonio Romo.
Antonio Romo.
Yes. But Tony Romo, my first start.
Wow.
Yeah, against Tony Romo and the Eastern Illinois Panthers, man. It's crazy.
What was it? Just go to that moment, because it kind of sucks to think like, I see this as a pivotal moment for you and like an opportunity. It just kind of sucks that it came from someone's injury. Yes. But that's just the game when you get into sports. That's how it works, unfortunately, more than not.
Right.
But you had this opportunity. What was it like going on that field in front of that real crowd now, that stadium crowd, and your first moments at starting on that team? Did you have those nerves, or did you recognize that this was a moment for you, or were you just like, I just got to do my thing, stay focused?
Yeah. I just did my thing. I didn't even think about it.
You didn't even think about it?
Didn't even think about it.
I would feel like I put myself in that shoes, which I would never be. But I would think like I would go out there and have that moment, like that Rudy moment, where you're just like, this is it. I'm in it. I'm in the game. This is big time for me. Like I would imagine most people would like die for that moment. Not to belittle it or anything, but it's just so interesting. The dynamic you had was just relaxed and just like, I'm just gonna do me and do my thing. There's something really cool about that.
I didn't even think about it.
It's so crazy,
and I think even more crazy about it too, because it just, when you said it, it reminded me of something. Because you're asking me like, how were you in the moment?
Yeah,
and the thing about my redshirt freshman year, it was actually it was supposed to be the fourth game of the year, or the fifth game of the year, I think. No, it was actually supposed to be the fourth game of the year.
Okay.
But it turns out to be our third game, because our second game of the year got postponed because of 9/11. September.
Oh my!
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So September 11th happened, and we're supposed to play Ohio State. So this was like our big game too, traveling to Ohio State, the Buckeyes. So that game gets canceled, or it gets postponed to later. So our second game is now done. Now our third game is against Air Force, and then boom, he gets hurt. And our fourth game is against Eastern Illinois, and then they kind of just took over. So I just didn't understand it. I was just playing. I'm just having fun.
Looking back, do you feel like that was a benefit to you? Like being able to be carefree to a point of just like doing your job, if you will?
I didn't care about nothing, man. I just want to go play.
Word.
It didn't even.
Because we got to think about it. Like for the listeners, like this isn't an athlete that like has had his mind dead set on making the league since he was like playing Pop Warner.
The dreams and aspirations.
So it was more of like, okay, we're in college now, opportunity, this is great. I'm a good football player. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go do my best, get this education, whatever happens, happens. I feel like it's wild to look at coming from somebody who went on to have a storied career, right? Mm-hmm. And a long career, if you will, right? In that a lot of the pressure was taken off you mentally, but like it allowed you to really play the game. just for the game's sake, because you weren't, every moment for you wasn't like your shot at the next level.
Right. And I think what really is crazy is that, and think about all of us too, how many people who have helped you or influenced you on your path. Like, it's so many people.
Yeah.
And it's some people that you sometimes forget. And it's crazy that as I relive and retell this story to you guys, a lot of those people come back into my mind. Like, you know, my defensive coordinator who said, hey, we're going with Kirk. He's going to stick with that guy. Like, him telling me that and just telling me, just go play. Like, we're going to be all right. Like, we going to be fine, fellas. He's our guy. We're going to rally around him, do what we got to do. And that was huge. Like, that's why I didn't have a care. I didn't worry about, like, I got to do this, I got to do that. I'm the middle linebacker now. Like, no, just go play. Don't worry about nothing else. Just go play. And I remember, you know, like, if there was ever a moment where I just was like, you know, like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here. It was when we played Ohio State.
Oh, the makeup game.
The makeup game. When we came back.
Really?
So I played against Ohio State, and we went out there, and we just balled.
Really?
We balled, yeah. We lost that game, but I remember I had like 10 tackles, 2 sacks.
Wow.
I was just out there on a mission.
What was that? It just felt real to you at that point? Like, I'm in.
The timing of life, bro. This is crazy.
Well, you only have so many out-of-body experiences for me in sports.
And this was
one of them.
Word.
That was one. I remember I got a sack, and like you just do things. And you look back to, like, you know, I was like popping my collar and just doing crazy stuff, and I realized, like, it was 100,000 people there. Like, you know, they get 100,000 people per game.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around like I am in the Ohio State Stadium, iconic place just to even play at. And here I am, got 2 sacks and balled out. And like the rest of the season, I was just boom. So
just that confidence. And then when the season was over, boom, you know, you're labeled a freshman All-American. You doing all that. So I got all this accolades and all this. I'm like, wow. Freshman year. Wow.
That is
freshman
wild.
year, newcomer of the year to the conference, like all of that stuff.
Wow. How was that pressure for you? Did it start to feel a little more like pressure, or was it?
But I was just playing, though.
You just playing the game.
I was just playing. Like, I didn't expect all that.
Word.
Like, I wasn't.
So did it seem like it was all gravy then, because you weren't really expecting or even going for it?
Expecting it.
So it just
it didn't even hit me.
Did it
I was just playing?
Did it, when it happened, did it affect you in a way of, like, gave you a new bar or a new standard, or maybe developed some expectations for you into the next following years?
No, I was just playing. I was just a freshman. I was playing. Like, I was 19 years old, and I'm looking at juniors and seniors and sophomores in a huddle, and we talk about that leadership role. I have to stand in front of that huddle of the other 10 men and tell them to play.
Wow.
Like, I had to tell them to play. And we're talking about guys who had
Were
been
you
in
the type
program.
that was studying the playbook and
really
getting after it?
I knew my plays.
I
had to know all of that stuff.
Got it.
But it was to a point where I'm telling it to the guys who've been here that played. Now here I am. I ain't even played 2 or 3 games yet, and I'm having to tell them what to do. And in the end of the year, it just was natural. And so then you have the whole off season, and I'm into it, you know.
Yeah.
And then sophomore year, now like got a little more hype.
Got it.
And so, you know, you start to have a little bit more hype. People know who you are, you know. And then my sophomore year, I had a new coach too. And then one of the coaches that really helped me out in my career was my new linebacker coach. And he made me see the game differently because me and him clashed heads.
Okay.
Because I dig, like, after that freshman year, like, I was like feeling myself.
Yeah.
People started to know you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's the freshman. And this and that. And so I was kind of feeling myself a little bit. And he like brought me back down to earth. He was like, you don't know nothing. This is the game. And he showed me the game from his eyes. And we clashed in the beginning. Like my sophomore year, like we clashed.
Looking at it now, was that your ego getting in the way, or was it just you knowing this way works for me? I know what works. Let me do my thing.
It was my ego.
Oh, it was. Okay.
And it's what I see a lot of today in just our youth, that they feel like they know everything.
Yeah.
I felt like I knew everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes that could help with the confidence, though, having that ego.
Yeah, but I like in certain things, like no matter what, you never know it. Like if someone who has lived it and done it, like, just
like
listen
our parents,
to them.
right?
Yes. You're like, oh, whatever, Mom. I know more than you. Like I've done more than you in your life. So but they've experienced more things.
Yeah.
And they may not have done some of the things or been to some of the places that I've been, but they can tell you. And that's how I had to I was taught, and he taught me the game, man.
What was it for you that finally clicked with the coach that you clashed with?
Well, it was funny. We were in a meeting, and he always preached competition. And so there was competitions in every position in our group. And then he came to me, and he was like, hell, I want to have a competition with Kirk, but if I don't play him, I might get fired. Like, it was weird when he said that.
Wow.
I was like, dang. So that's how I felt. Like, I'm saying I felt it, but here I was on a level above the team, in which this is in my room. And I'm like, damn, that's wild. Like,
He brought you back 10 toes down.
yeah, he was like, I got to play you. And so I'm like, yeah, so I'm thinking I know it all. But he's like, if I'm going to play you, he said, I have to play you. But I still got to coach you hard. And I got to tell you this is what you're doing. And if you don't do it right, I'm going to let you know. And so I did some things, and I was messing up. And he was like, this is what you got to do. So he just coached me hard. And we clashed because he was rotating me with another guy. And I'm like, dude, I'm a freshman All-American. Why you rotating? He's like, I got to do it. This dude's a senior, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, why? And he did it anyway. He was rotating me. That's fine. I get it.
Did that light a big fire under you?
Yeah, because I was hot. I was mad.
Yeah.
You know, like I never wanted to get taken out of the game. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm sitting on the sideline for a series. Like, no, I don't come off the field. I earned this. But, you know, that year I ended up being a first team all conference guy. Ended up being, and like a lot of it, like I said, go to him because he challenged me. He challenged me to a point, and then so that was after my sophomore year,
which is probably something you needed.
I needed, yeah.
You know, especially like freshman, feeling yourself. Yeah. Like if you're gonna play and reach another level of excellence, you kind of need someone to check you.
Yeah.
You know, and show you and challenge you and make you see things that you just couldn't at the time.
Right. Yeah. I couldn't see it, man. So we did that. And then like to fast forward to my senior year. So my sophomore year, freshman year, freshman All-American. Sophomore year, I was a first team all-conference player. Only sophomore in the school to do that.
Wild.
I was like, it was just wild. Like I was returning to my junior year, like all this stuff. So my junior year, ball out again. Now I kind of got a name for myself.
And how are you and the coach at this point?
Oh yeah, we cool now.
We're cool now. Yeah, you got the groove.
So I balled out. Balled out. This time I was defensive player of the year in the conference.
Wild.
Balling out.
Now I had a decision to make. Do I go to the NFL or not?
Oh, did you have opportunities your junior year for it?
Because my sophomore year,
sophomore
year I was still playing. I'm not thinking about the NFL yet.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. Freshman year, just playing. Sophomore year, just playing. But now all of a sudden you're a conference player of the year. And then one of my guys who was a senior at the time who got drafted said, I just want to let you know, man, people talking about you. Like, you're going to have a shot to make it. You're going to go to the league.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm only a sophomore. Like, I still got 2 more years left. He's like, no, you got a shot. You're going to go. I'm telling you now, people I know that's been talking to me, everyone said, man, I like that linebacker at y'all school. I like that linebacker. He was like, I'm just telling you, you're going to go. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, whatever. I still didn't think it was obtainable.
You still nonchalant about that shit.
Yeah, I'm still like, whatever.
I love
that. That's wild.
Yeah, so going to my junior year now, I'm balling out now. And this is where it kind of sets me up for my next career, was that because all the older guys had now graduated. And now here I am into my junior year when I'm really like the leader of the team now.
Yeah.
You know, like before, remember he just said, hey, go play. There's leaders on this team that can take care of everything.
Yeah.
If you need something done, they're going to take care of it. Just go play. And then that's what happens to where my junior year, I was now that leader.
You're running the defense at this point.
And it was that time, like, it was crazy because I was like, so like my freshman, sophomore year, I didn't even tell y'all this. I was like kind of thugging it too. You know what I'm saying? Like I had braids. And I just wanted to be, I was trying to be hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was that mentality. Like, I was like people say, like, "Oh, you from Oakland?" Like,
you
I feel
from
like
Oakland. You gonna represent for Oakland.
I had to, like, you know what I'm saying? I had to, like, rep it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like the whole time I'm like, you know, I'm dressing in a certain way. I'm stunner shade. I'm doing all that stuff. Like, I was just being like, I was Oakland's like all the way through Oakland, like from my lingo, how I dressed, what I wore, all of that. And then like going into my junior year and just seeing and kind of always being an observer and noticing what's going on. Like, I was like, I can't, that's not who I am. Like, I'm Oakland, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But if I'm going to be a face of a program, I want to look a certain way. I want to be like, okay, that guy gets it. That's
insane to me that this divide with you.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because you're over here just playing the game.
Right.
You're balling out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in your position will be thinking about the league.
Right.
You're not. Mm-hmm. Right? But what you're thinking about, right?
You get it.
Is how your image is not who you are as a person, and that if you're going to be a leader, you yourself are thinking, I need to shift my image. I need to come back down to me. Right? I don't care what I need to put externally. I need to come back down to me and be a leader.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild as shit.
And it's the perception that you've talked about. It's the perception.
That's wild.
So, and I got that early on.
Yeah, that's like the core.
20. Yeah. And so I cut my hair, you know, just started dressing a certain way. Just always had that clean cut, you know. And that's what I always wanted to be. Like, okay, this is what I got to do. If I'm going to be the face of this program, which they didn't tell me that, but they was like, look, we're going to do a campaign for you. We want to make sure we promote you, man. You're a freshman All-American. You're a first team all-conference in this league. You're going to your junior year. We want to do that. So, you know, my junior year, you know, I did it again. This time I was defensive player of the year. And now I'm really like, okay. And so I was in front of the camera every week, every game. Like after the game was over, you know, I would just have like 10 people there, and they all just do an interview with me. It was to a point where I could tell them, hey, man, let me go shower and get done, and I'll do my interview. And they would wait. You know what I mean? Where other guys, they would get interviews done, but I had enough pull to where, and it was like every week I was doing it, like every week. And so I ended up just being in front of the camera so much and doing interviews so much, and I was a criminal justice major. And so by this time, my junior year, I'm so far into my major, I'm like, dang, I kind of like this communications thing. I kind of like what's going on. I kind of like the camera. I kind of like the radio.
It feels good to be well-spoken.
Yeah, and just being able to talk about it and then explain the game. And the way my school schedule has set up, I was able to do the interviews every single week.
Got it.
And so going into my senior year, this was great, was that my redshirt senior, because now this is my 5th year of school.
Got it.
Yeah.
But I had already technically graduated after 4. So I was all I had was that one season of football I was eligible for. Got it. So my school, like now, like I was preparing myself for whatever was going to come. So I didn't end up going to the league my junior year. I thought about it after the end of my junior year. I thought about it. You know, do I do it? You know, I had a lot of accolades. I was going to pick an agent and go there. And I was like, no, I came to school with my homeboys. I'm going to leave with my boys.
Got it.
I got one more year.
So you were willing to bypass that because, like, this is a game where one injury can set you off.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with big money at this point, or good money when you're coming in hot like that.
But I had an insurance policy.
Which
the school pays for. Like, so when you see a lot of these athletes go back to school
at an
age where they can make a lot of money, but they have to wait until they're eligible, schools can take out an insurance policy and they can pay for it. Wow. Yeah, you get a loan to pay for it and have it paid. So I actually had an insurance policy that if anything had happened, like I would be able to get a certain amount of money on where I would have been drafted at. And where I knew I was going to get drafted in a certain round from what I got. Because I asked the NFL, hey, where will you be drafted? It's like, oh, you'd be in a mid-round draft pick. So I'm like, well, shoot, if I go back to school for my senior year, I can get drafted even higher.
What do you think it was with you that you know, because this has been a pattern that you've always wanted to stick with your boys.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think it was, or what do you think it is about, you know, the life that you had lived up until that point that gave you that mentality? Because a lot of cats, like, you know, speak about being down with their boys, but when the opportunity presents itself, you know, the allure of options plays a role there. But you seem to continuously hold it down and be like, look, if this is squad, I'm the leader of this squad. The leader's not leaving yet.
Yeah, man. Like I said, my 3 guys or 2 guys who we came to school together. So when we came to school together, it was like, we here, we gonna come together, we gonna leave together.
Word.
And that's how it was. And we were roommates.
Word.
So, you know, our freshman year, we stayed in a 2-bedroom dorm. So, yeah, you know, it was 2 of us in one room and the other 2 in the other room. And we shared a bathroom and all that stuff. Then our sophomore years, or rest of our freshman years, or second years in college. So second and third years in college, we moved into a house, 4-bedroom house. And it was just always me and my guys. You know, we always pushed each other. We did things to a point like you can never be late. We just did things to push each other.
Got it.
You know what I mean? And we did it just because. And then my junior year, my 4th year is where we really lucked out. So we had to move out of the place that we were living in because they were going to sell the place.
Okay.
They were like, all right, yeah, we gotta move this place out. This is all right, cool. So here we are, us 4 trying to find a new spot. One of our other good friends who always was over the house, he was looking for a spot that was going to be 5. Then we had one of my good buddies who transferred in, who had 2 more years of school left. One of our good friends. He transferred in, so he was looking for a spot. So that's 6 of us. And we had another guy that was looking for a spot. So we like trying to figure it all out. And here I am.
Y'all over here about to get the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's mansion.
Trying to figure it out, man.
Like,
everybody was trying to figure out like, what do we do?
Yeah.
And then so my guy who had transferred over, his brother actually went to the NFL from my school and was gonna buy us a house. That we would just have to pay him rent, and he always have a house in San Diego. So we were about to do that, and we started getting all kind of stuff, getting ready.
Y'all were hyped.
We were hyped. And then I remember one of my boys called me and said, hey, y'all still looking for a house to live in? I said, yeah. He said, I said, a house next door to us. It was probably about 5 blocks from campus,
okay,
like in a residential area. It's like, man, it's my dude next door. They may be renting a place. It's pretty big. I can hook y'all. I said, yeah, man, give me his number. We're going to call him. So we called him. And I was like, can we come over take a visit? Man, we looking for it. He's like, yeah, this is a big house. It's going to be a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, we go in there. Man, it was a house, and it was an old retreat center, like old retreat center. So it had 7 bedrooms, bathrooms, pool, 4-car garage port, 4 cars outside, washer, dryer.
Y'all had a frat house.
We had a frat house with canyon views.
Oh my God.
All of that. And so we were like, oh man, we want it. And he was like, all right, well.
Was he a little weary of like the athletes coming through?
No, they were just trying to get it rented.
Okay.
It literally just happened like 2 days before.
Got it.
And I think what happened was somebody stopped paying on the house, so it was going to be foreclosed.
Oh, wow.
Or something like that. And
they were just
looking for anything. Like, all right. I was like, look, man, can we just sign a lease? Year lease, 2-year lease. Oh, yeah. So we signed a 2-year lease, got in there, and boom, we moved in. So it was weird because we were picking rooms and all that stuff.
Y'all literally rolled
it's
up
like
to
their own dorm.
It's like real world San Diego.
It is, man. It really is. Because it was me and my other buddy named Hector. We lived on the top floor.
This is a story of 7 football players, 7 friends.
Well, it ended up turning into 8.
I feel you.
So it was 8 of us in the house. So we had, it was 3 rooms. It was 2 rooms and a suite up top. So my buddy ended up living in the suite. Me and Hector lived in the 2 rooms up there.
Yeah.
Then you had the main level, which is where you first walk in the front door, which was the main level, kitchen, dining room. We had this big giant projection screen TV. And then over in the back of the main area was 2 bedrooms.
Guest crib.
Yeah, it was just 2 bedrooms that my boy Devin and Jeff lived. Yeah. So they had their own level in their own bathroom. And then
incredible.
When you walk, then you had a little area that you walk downstairs into the lower level, and it was 3 bedrooms down there, and they all shared one bathroom. And so it was 8 total rooms, and we all paid $3,000 a month.
Oh my God!
Wow. So it was like $400.
Oh my God! Y'all was living plush for like Section 8 prices.
Exactly. So my boy who had the suite, we made him pay like almost like $700-800 because he had a suite. It was like his own suite. Yeah. Like he had insurance on bathroom, and he had a lot.
That's still the deal of a century.
Right. But I think we still had a pool. We had that.
Oh my God!
And I'm telling you, that house was like a real frat house, man. We used to, I remember.
Y'all were on.
Yeah. So we were like, so it was I always remember we had a fire, not at the house, but like in San Diego. They canceled school, right? So everybody was like, look, man, what we gonna do? I was like, I don't know. So we just kind of all hung around and chilled. So now this was Sunday night, okay? Monday, they said, school closed again. We was like, we got a party. Man. We don't get these days off. It's like, man, everybody called one girl over. So we were like, all right. And it was like, no, forget that. Everybody called 2 girls over, man. Just tell them bring a friend. If they got a friend, tell them bring a friend. Like, all right, cool. So when you really think about it, 8 guys tell 1 girl to come over and bring her friend. That night we had like 16, 20 chicks at the house. Wow. And it was just us 8. And we partied our brains off.
The Furious 8, though.
Yes. And we got, it was
Project X.
It was going down.
Wow.
So, but it was the thing about it was like, you mentioned it. It was like my brotherhood. It was like my family. It was my boys. We hung out that night, but in the morning we out there running hills. You know what I'm saying? Or we had to be at a workout at 6 o'clock. We're all there. Hey, Marv ain't up. Let's go get him up. Or hey, Josh ain't out. Is he already there? Where he at? Like we made sure that we all accountable
on Smash.
Yeah. And it was so infectious because it started with like the 4 in the beginning, and then it became 6. And then everybody just always gravitated to us.
Yeah.
Like a Saturday in San Diego, we would have randomly 5 or 6 extra dudes at the house. Because they just want to be around it. Like, y'all just so tight. Y'all just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like the ringleader of that. I was like, because I was the one that made sure all the bills was paid on time. I'll make sure that we do this. Or if anything came in.
Extremely responsible.
Yeah, right? I had to be.
The leader figure, the core.
It was like, hey, go ask Kirk. Or, we had music too loud. Police come. Hey, Kirk. Handle it.
How are you, officer? You good?
Yeah, we good? What we need to do? Should I talk? Like, that's just how it was. And they knew that I had that relationship. And I had those skills to do that.
Yeah.
And so, like, all of that stuff, it just kind of just came back full circle. Like, here I am, getting ready to, do I play in the league or do I stay in school one more year? I was like, no, I'm going to stay in school one more year. I'm going to go to work. And, because I had school. I only had like 1 class.
Got it.
And it was because I'd already graduated, but technically they left one, like, whatever is one of those classes. I forgot what they call it. Like elective. Yeah, one of the electives. And it was like just a 7 o'clock class on a Wednesday night. So I literally was at home all day, and I was either training or working out.
Got it.
And so I really lived like an NFL lifestyle when I was still in college. And, senior year again, I won the defensive player of the year.
Balled
out. And then, boom, went to, I'd already graduated. So just got ready for the NFL.
So that when did that become real? When was that like, all right, it's on now?
I knew it was real after my junior year.
Okay.
Yeah, after my junior year when I had to sit and make a decision, do I go or stay? And I made that decision to stay. I was like, all right, yeah, I know if I left, I would have got drafted, but I didn't want to do that. I was like, I want to come back for my senior year, and I wanted to, leave with my homeboys. And I made a big announcement at school. Like everybody come back to school because everybody was asking I had made a decision
that last year,
and
but that actually turned out in your benefit, no?
Oh, it was a great benefit for me, and I had some games I wanted to play. We were playing against Michigan, we were playing against some other schools, and we had just came off one of our best seasons that we had in a long time there too, and so I had a lot going for me. I didn't want to pass up on the opportunity, and I thought it would be selfish of me to go out and grab a dream that I knew that I can still have that dream the next year. Yeah. So why not have a great time in school and do all that. So I just ended up becoming a broadcaster too while I was in school. I started broadcasting.
Oh, I didn't know you started back then.
Yeah, so I started like my junior college.
That's incredible.
That was my first time broadcasting a game. I started broadcasting high school games. They gave me the opportunity. Like I was like, cool. So I started broadcasting.
They were like, wow, this dude wants to broadcast?
Yeah. I was like, you know, you can't pay you. I was like, no. They were like, I was like, all right, cool. So like here they are getting free labor. Wow. And I'm just doing it. And like, I just really loved it. I love watching the game, talking the game, and it was fun. And then I got drafted.
And you had the foresight early that you wanted to test this out.
Like I said, once I became like the face of that program for the 2 years that I was there, and you know, having to always talk and go to events and do this and do that, I was like, man, this is fun. I kind of like this. I kind of want to do this for a living one day when I got done playing. And I just love doing interviews to a point where I remember people was like, man, you don't get nervous doing interviews? I'm like, why would I get nervous? I'm just having a conversation with people.
Yeah.
It just so happens there's just a microphone there. If the microphone was gone, like, would I be nervous? Like, no, I'm just talking to them. How I would talk to anybody else. Like once you get that comfortable thing, like this microphone here don't mean nothing. You just throw that out the way. We're just talking.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Ain't no need to feel nervous or you got to worry about what you're going to say. Like, I mean, obviously you're going to talk where you're going to talk there. Like when this microphone going now, I'm cussing and we doing all that. But you're going to button it up and tighten it up.
Absolutely.
Same thing like if you're in front of your parents, you ain't going to be out there like, oh, guess what, Dad? What the, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, but you know, but I knew that going in. And so when I got drafted, you know, which is a day that I always remember, I got drafted. You know, it was, so the draft was 2 days back then, 2005. It came on at 9 a.m. I didn't get drafted till 6 p.m. that night, 6:30. Wow. So I waited all day long, man. It was one of the longest days of my life, man, but I remember that call.
What was going through your head?
Well, what was going through my head is that you start seeing guys who you were like, man, I'm better than him.
Yeah.
Man, and getting drafted, you know. And
was there a team that you wanted to go to at the time?
I mean, obviously the Raiders. I wanted to go back home. I wanted to be a Raider.
No, yeah, because the Raiders, I mean, growing up, I'll take it back. Growing up, the Raiders were actually in L.A. till 94. Right. But were you a Raiders fan growing up as a kid?
Yeah, I always have.
Always, even when they were in L.A.?
Because they was Oakland, so they was still old school. Like my dad and them, they still were Raider fans. Like even when they moved to L.A.,
and all the
Raider
Oakland,
fans. Right.
Yeah. So then when they came back, it was huge for you guys. It was
huge. My dad we were season ticket holders when they came back. You know?
Okay. Got it.
So we went to every game. My dad still goes to every game.
So you had the Raider blood in you.
Always have been. That's all I believe.
Deep
man.
in Oakland. Yeah,
deep. I love the Raiders. It's just, so I always wanted to play for them. But if it was any team that was going to go out and draft me, I didn't care. I just wanted to get drafted.
Yeah.
Okay. So I waited all day, and I did everything I thought I could. I even played in an all-star game, and I was like, they have what they call Power 5 conferences and Group of 5. I went to a Group of 5 school, meaning that I didn't go to a conference. I went to a school within the conference called the Mountain West. But any school outside of the Pac-12, Big 12, ACC, SEC, and Big 10, those are what they call Power 5. Yeah. The other schools outside of that are called Group of 5. So when I went to the All-Star game, I was like a Group of 5 going against a ton of players who were in the Power 5 conferences. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, this dude go to San Diego State. You know what I'm saying? So like I had to go there like, earn my respect. Because people who they don't know you, but they going to know me after I leave this. You know? So I did that. I balled out at the All-Star game to a point where like they voted me team captain. You know what I'm saying? And I was telling people like that's one of the biggest.
You were from the island.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But I think that was one of the biggest accomplishments of my life that nobody talks about too. Like I was like, that was one of the huge accomplishments that I always remember.
You came from like the replacements, if you will, exactly, and then came to the All-Star squad.
That's how it was.
Wow.
That's crazy for that to hold so much weight. Why that moment versus like everything you've done so far? Why that one moment?
I think because, you know, I was playing the game. I was playing well in college. But I always had one of my guys used to always tell me, man, everybody demand in their own hood. But when you demand of somebody, when you get the respect and demand of somebody else's hood, that's how you know you made it.
You were the big fish in the small pond.
Right.
Over there.
So in San Diego, everybody knew me. I was good. Or in my little conference, that's Kirk Morrison. He good. But when outside of that realm, you know what I'm saying? Don't nobody know who you are.
Yeah. And the like, you know, going back to what your coach said, like standing that one kid in 23 up, the game changes when you get there.
Change.
Like, you got grown ass men.
Yes.
Big men.
Yeah.
Like speeds like 3-4 times faster. You can hit way harder. Like it's no joke.
Yeah. I was like, man, so being on that level, playing in that all-star game, I had to go for my respect. And like when I left there, for them to vote me team captain, it was just like, we probably didn't know you coming in, but we know who you are now.
Awesome.
And that's why it was a bunch of respect that I earned there.
That's beautiful.
It's like I always remember that. And then my actual coaches of my team were the Raiders. Wow. So in that all-star game, it was the Raiders on one side and the other side it was the Buccaneers. Shit. So those coaches, and that's the reason why.
Shout out to the Sirens.
Yeah. This is one of those moments.
Yeah. One of those Sirens always come in special moments.
But honestly, that's the reason, like, why I think the Raiders drafted me. Because they had firsthand knowledge and saw me work and saw, like, there's one thing to watch a guy on tape and say, okay, you know him, but they saw me work
in person.
And they saw me.
Can you think about the chance occurrences in your life? Like, imagine 9/11 doesn't happen. That player that you were
don't get hurt,
backing up, don't get hurt. Probably that play doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
All of these times, you don't ball out in that game,
right?
But you balled out in that game, and it just so happens that the coaches from the Raiders are in that game. You decide to play that game.
Yeah.
You come in from the regional 5, right? Shine on the superstar 5.
Crazy. Yeah.
But unbeknownst to you, right, that game in and of itself carried a lot of weight.
Yeah. Wow.
Life changing.
That's wild, bro.
And it's like you don't know, like we were talking a little bit off air, you know what I'm saying, about the path that you take.
Yeah.
Like that path for me, like it goes like it has so many things that, like, what if this would have happened? Or what if that would have happened, you know? And then, like, I didn't even get to, you know, as we try to get into like my NFL journey real quick, like I had lost my best friend to murder when I was in college.
Really?
Yeah, my best friend didn't make it to 21. We went to, you know, middle school with, all the way through high school. We didn't go to the same high school because I went to the prep school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I remember getting that phone call one day, and, you know, I always remember I was a big procrastinator in college. So okay. I still am now.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that I can't do it at night, but I'll just wake up extra early and do it in the morning because I feel like I'm fresh and I got thoughts and I'm going to get it done. So I woke up early in the morning to finish the paper. I got a call, and I said, "You didn't hear what happened?" I was like, "No." And I said, your best friend got shot. And I was like, "Oh, no," you know, like, whatever. I was like, "No." I said, "What all do you know?" So that's all I know is he just got shot last night. So
was he back in Oakland?
He back in Oakland. And so at the whole time, I'm thinking like, okay, he got shot. And then no one called me for the rest of the day. So I went to go turn my paper in and do all that. I'm fine. I'm like, all right, cool. My boy got shot. Let me figure out, man. I hope he's doing well. So then I called, you know, some of my people back, and it was like, nobody called you back? I was like, no, nobody. First of all, nobody even called me. I had to find out from a girl he used to date. She called me.
Holy.
And nobody wanted to tell me because they know I was away at college and I was focusing on football. And when they told me, it was like, yeah, you know, he's dead. I'm like, what? And so, like, I had to deal with that, too. And that's, like, one of the things I always regret in my life, too. I don't regret it a lot, but one thing I regret was that my best friend got killed, and his family asked me to be a pallbearer, and I said no because I didn't believe he was dead.
Wow.
You know, I was like, no, because I was always going away to college, and when I came home for holidays and weekends and birthdays or wherever I came home, we just picked back up where we left off, and I was just filling in.
That's what best friends do.
Right. And so I came back home when they were trying to tell me he was dead, and I was like, no, he's not. Like, you just can't tell me that. Like, he's just not dead. Stop. And so that was like my sophomore year. And so I kind of like vowed to, like, you know, I'm going to finish school, and he was like always in the back of my mind. And so when we talk about that day, I got drafted to Oakland, to the Raiders. A lot of emotions came through me because it was a lot of people who not only helped me to get to that path, and to get to where I was, but there's a lot of people I really wanted to share that moment with. And he was one of them dudes like, man, that'd be crazy if I played for the Raiders, because we would go to games together. Like, my dad had, you know, we had season tickets, and he was one of the guys, because my stepmom would never go to the game when it rained. So everybody knew that. All my boys knew, because my dad had like, 4 season tickets. So we had 4 season tickets. Yeah, we had 4 season tickets. So it was my dad, my stepmom, myself, and I forgot who was else. It was like somebody else would go with us, one of the family friends. But when it rained, my stepmom wouldn't go, and I think it was my sister. Yeah, she wouldn't go. So we had 2 extra tickets. And everybody's always like, "Hey man, you know, Mr. Morrison, I heard it's raining today." And they said it's supposed to rain in a couple hours, so they used to always do that.
And the baby raining though, because I was born in San Jose, I grew up in Cupertino.
So you already know, like we get to November, December,
lunches and recesses taken away by the rain.
November, December, it's a wrap. It's raining.
Yeah.
So we so they would just he would take me to games, and my friends would come, and so my boy would come to my games when he had the tickets, and we just watch. Like, man, one day I'm gonna play for the Raiders. You just kind of saying as kids.
Yeah.
So like I didn't get a chance to share that moment with him. You know what I mean? So I had to deal with that. But like I said, I made it to the NFL.
How was that for you? Like, I know it's like one of those types of moments, but like, how was that for you, being so distraught that you like blatantly, missed this moment? Because like I guess looking at it now, like from the outside in, it's just like you can't accept it, right?
Yeah.
But how was that for you, just having to deal with that, but also like, I don't know, I just like see it like you being so closely. Like I feel like he's like behind you in your mind all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I would speak to him before every game.
Really? Well, playing throughout college too?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was weird because we see it now with so many national anthem protests.
Yeah.
And for me, during the national anthem was when I would talk to him and speak to him. You know what I mean? Because I would always have my hand on my heart. And that was the one time. And
straight looking at the sky. Just having
exactly. That was like my moment where I would share that moment with him, before every college game, before every NFL game. And that was my moment with him.
And being a Raider at the time, it just held such a different importance. Like before knowing that, I was talking to Noosh, and I was like, I want to ask Kirk. It must be so cool to be, a kid growing up in Oakland and to play for the Raiders, just as simple as that. But now it just holds such a deeper importance. What was it like going out on that field the first time as a Raider in that black and silver, and just seeing the black hole and just being on that field that you have seen as a spectator and as a fan and as just a part of the community, a part of the culture growing up. It's so thick in your background and upbringing and your roots, and now being on that grass and that feeling that.
Like when I got drafted, I was excited. I was pumped up. I was just like, man, dream come true. And I practiced the entire offseason. I practiced the entire preseason training camp. And it was just fun to be a Raider. I like to think about it. But it never hit me that I was a Raider.
That's so crazy.
It never hit me. And I remember my first... I think, it was maybe my second preseason game. I remember second preseason game. No, actually, it was my first preseason game. I remember my first preseason game. No, wait, I gotta look it up. I just always remember it was my first home game.
Okay.
In the preseason. And I remember I'm walking through the tunnel getting ready, and for many years growing up as a kid, you would hear that Raider theme, that anthem, the Hell's Bells, meaning that the guys are about to come out the locker room. And I was like, man, when they played those chimes, the boom, I would go crazy in the stands. Like, oh, here they come. Oh, yeah, it's game time. And then, like, here I am coming out in the locker room, and those chimes start.
Oh, my God.
Boom, boom. And I'm hearing the Hell's Bells chimes start. And, like, it was like, wow, okay. And I remember the head coach was coming out, and he was saying, what other place you'd rather be than here right now? And for some reason, when he said that, it like took me to like just like flashbacks, just like a million flashbacks in my mind. Wow. And I literally, this is a preseason game. I think the second preseason game. Okay, preseason game. I literally am bawling like a little kid.
No,
crying, like tears.
Helmet
like
on?
Tears. No, helmet off.
Helmet off, and you're just in the.
I'm just we're walking through the tunnel, and then they announce the team, and we all come out, and I just came out like in tears, man. Like just
it hit you.
I was ready to like it just hit me like. I was and like I had like guys like Warren Sapp and like Randy Moss and Charles Woodson. I had like all these guys looking at me like, damn, Rook, like the hell? Like, it was a preseason game. Wow. And to me, like, it was just like, damn, I made it, man. I'm in the league right now.
Wow. You know what's so wild is that throughout your entire career up to this point, you've actually never had those moments. It's just been like, yo, I'm just gonna go out and do me. Doing me, whatever. Then now it comes full circle. You know, in the place where you have your deepest roots, everything is there, and
it all came out at once.
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost that entire everything you've worked for, everything you've done your whole life had culminated to that one moment and finally came out in that way.
All at once. It just came out.
That's so wild.
I was like crying. Like I still can remember it. I was just crying. I mean, the dudes was getting on me so bad. The next weekend, oh man, I was
especially
the butt
that group.
That group. I was the butt of all the jokes. I was like, man, let's go. We got to go out there and kill these fools, dog. Let's go, man. Y'all don't understand. I'm from the tail, man. It's like, I was like, because I'm like, I put the city on my back. Like, I was emotional, man. Yeah. I was emotional.
That's
man.
incredible, dog.
I really thought I was like putting the city on my back, man. And I was just like, boom. And I just remember that moment. And then I played, my rookie year. I led the team in tackles. Mm-hmm. Second year, led team tackle. I mean, I let him tackle every year. Yeah. And it was like, I played with a different edge to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what do you think it was?
Well, first of all, I knew I couldn't, no matter what I had, the city looking at me. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
a huge.
Yeah. Like I couldn't take a play off kind of thing.
You know what's crazy? Like that pressure in that moment. Like, so now the city is watching you and you're starting to feel it all.
Yeah, but it wasn't really pressure though. It was just that I gotta
You just gotta show up and show out.
I can't disrespect his name on the back.
Got it.
Because they know my dad, they know my moms, my brother, my family. You go out there and play like some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, now everybody gonna look at you like that. Like, man, your son, man, he weak. He on the team, you know? So I can't never have that. I said, nah, I gotta go out there and ball. So that the family can be like, man, you know what? Hey, your son be out there doing his thing, you know? And it was like all that stuff was like on me. So I just couldn't. I mean, you have friends from high school. Like, it's one thing if I played in a different team because I got traded to Jacksonville. Yeah. You know, I played in Buffalo.
5, 6 years?
After 5 years, and I played in Jacksonville. I played in Buffalo for a couple of years, and like your guys like, oh man, how y'all doing out there in Jacksonville? Buffalo? I'm like, oh, we play in the league just like the Raiders do. But a lot of people
mean the same.
It didn't mean the same, and like people weren't watching those other teams play. Like the Raiders came on right there in their own home and watched them, and that's why like
it was that camaraderie, but it was the camaraderie of the city.
Exactly, because they all watched it.
Well, I want to kind of dive into like the financial aspect of these things, and then also kind of just what it was like for you and a player in that position on the body. Right? Because what a lot of cats don't realize is that, the average NFL career is what, between 2 and 3 years?
Yeah, 3. Let's say right now they have it at 3.5, but they need to like up the numbers because I feel like it's
that's like them padding the stats. You know what I mean? The dude that's 265, they have him at 240.
Yeah, I feel like it's now 2.5 years.
Okay. Did you, because again, this is kind of going back to me looking at it as you've always been the head of the group, and you always made decisions with your boys in mind, right? Did you have to deal with the pressures of people coming to you and really starting to ask you for money, being that you're an NFL player, and also just being in the league around it? Like, what is that like?
I got like 2 or 3 good stories off of that.
Okay.
I think the first one for me is that I didn't really have to worry about it because my mom was in charge of everything. Not my money or not anything like that, but my mom was just in charge. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go through her. And people couldn't just get to me like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I kept myself away.
Insulated.
I didn't live in Oakland. I lived in San Diego in the off season.
Really?
So when season was over, I was out.
Got it.
So I was like, oh, man, can Kirk come do this, come do that? Because it could be overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like,
especially, I feel like it's a big burden on the immediate family.
Yeah. I mean,
like cousins start coming out.
Yeah, like
but
dad,
nobody's going to come at your mom that way.
Right. No.
Okay.
And then I remember I learned, too, from one of my other guys is that people don't understand, like, those tickets that we get for games, like, they're not free. We have to pay for them.
Yeah.
So when we play against, like, San Diego or something, I remember, like, tickets is like $100 a piece. I'm like, dude, I don't know you like that to be paying $100 for a ticket. Like, so, you know what I'm saying? If I got 10 people coming to the game, that's $1,000. That's coming out of my pocket.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm good. So the one thing I did learn my second year, because my freshman, my rookie year, I didn't do it, but my second year I learned how to do it because my dad, remember, already had season tickets.
Yeah.
My mom got because we did get 2 free tickets. My mom got those. But I would have people come through regularly, this and that, and people like, oh, man, my family wanted to go, and I'm like worried about getting them tickets, this and that. And so by then, it was to a point where my second year, I realized, look, I got my mom 4 season tickets. No, my mom had 6 season tickets, and my dad had 6 season tickets. And the prices for that was like reasonable for what you would pay each game.
Yeah.
Sure.
So my dad had his, my mom had his. And so I said, if anybody want to go to a game, you ask my mom, and she will let you know what game you'll go to. And there's 8 games or 10 games. You add the 2 preseason, and you can, talk with her, and she will say, okay, this is what game you go to.
Wow.
And that's how, that
had
happened.
to be a huge relief.
It was a huge relief. My mom took a lot of that, and then when I moved into my first house that I bought, she was over there a lot, helping me clean up and just whatever I needed. She was just being a mom too. And that's the reason why I was able to focus on playing football. You know what I'm saying? Like, it goes back to everything. Like, just go play. Like, I didn't have to worry about where I'm going to eat at, where I'm going to hang at, where I'm going to party at, where am I going to, what streets do I need to escape? I was back at home. So my job was just to go play football. I didn't have to worry about the extra, where I'm going to live, what I'm going to do, when I'm going to see my family. Like, they was all there. So to some, it was a distraction, but to me, it was a non-distraction for me.
Did you have like people in your ear? I'm talking more on like the coaches and the kind of like, I'm sure business managers and different things that come in your sphere, agents and whatnot.
Yeah.
So were you really well aware of the lack of permanence in this, whether it be career and financial? Right. Were you always cognizant of like, this is not going to be forever? Let me plan for my future from the onset? Or was it more of...
Well, no matter what people will tell you, when you get to the league, you automatically, you're going to think you're going to play 10 years.
Got it.
And you're going to get all these big contracts and that. And sometimes it just doesn't happen for people. I'm always a guy who sits back and looks at people that have came before me. I've always been that way.
Got it.
And if there's any knowledge, if there's any knowledge I can get from someone and just put in my memory bank, bam, I'm gonna use that. And I remember I had one of the older guys that was just talking one day, and I just was listening to him, and he said, just always remember, you're going to spend more years out of the league than you will in the league. Always remember that.
That's a fucking bomb.
And you'd be like, what? I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, just say a guy plays 10 years. Just say, like, I play 10 years, 15 years. That's still, I got into the league at 23. I played 10, 15 years. That puts me between the age of 33 and 38.
Yeah.
You're still going to spend way more years outside of the league.
You're still incredibly young.
Yeah, and with each year, you will get passed by. Now this is my 4th year removed from the National Football League. And each year you just keep going by where people know you, but then like as it goes by, that next wave of people don't know you.
Yeah.
Because
football is also a sport where you're not like, no matter how good you are, the only very few players are known.
Exactly.
Because you always have helmets on.
And it's always helmets, and it's always a new wave coming in.
Yeah.
It's always somebody new.
What was it like on your body? And was that something that you took into consideration? Was it something that you were like, damn, like I'm getting beat up, but like, because I know in that community, like football players are fucking warriors, right? Cats are going in there playing with shit that like you would never expect, but they're like, cool, give me like I'm going out here, I'm not letting my team down, right. Did you have those instances where as the career kind of moved forward, you're like, damn, my body is just, it's not taking this shit like it used to?
Yeah. I think when you in it, you don't even think about it.
Okay.
When you in it, it's like, man, as long as I'm ready to go on Sunday.
Got it.
There's going to be days where there's going to be bad days and good days. You just hope you have more good than bad.
Got it.
But you know what it is. Like when you out there playing, I just got to go. You just want to make sure you're playing. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So that's why you see a lot of guys, they play through concussions or they play through like that. I've never had a documented concussion, but I know I've had my bell rung or I've had a concussion.
Got it.
But sometimes guys didn't know how to diagnose it. And they're just saying, like, who would tell you, like, oh, I got a concussion, take me out of the game? Like, no, like, we're creatures of habit. Like, no matter what, people want to stay in there. You know what I mean? Like, I always say, like, what about the guy who, when you're out partying and you got that one homeboy who's drunk, but he just goes to the bathroom, throws up, and he's right back in the party. He's like, instead of saying, what's like, up, I'm done, like, I'm done, like, take me home, I'm good. Like, no. He's
That's
like,
a good analogy.
Let's go back. Like, we all know that person.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in the NFL. It's like, you're here, you are hanging out with your fella, boom, oh, got hit in the head. Like, nobody saw it. All right, cool. I'm going back because I don't want to miss. It's just, that's how it is.
I'm sure because it's also so competitive.
It's competitive.
Like every moment matters. Like
every play.
I mean, every play matters. Every play.
So that was just part of. That's just part of the gig too. I remember I had a coach. My second year told us all to stand up. This is the beginning of the year. It's like in training camp. When we first got to training camp, first day. He said, I want you all to stand up. So we all stand up. We in the meeting room. We standing up. He said, shake it out a little bit. Move around a little bit. We was like, all right, shaking it out, moving around. He was like, y'all feel good, don't y'all? We was like, yeah. He's like, well, that's the best your body's going to feel for the next 6 months. Just remember what that feels like. And I was like, damn.
Oh, my God.
Because football hurts. Yeah. It's like it hurts.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to be hurt. You're going to be injured. But just remember, when you're injured, you can't play. When you're hurt, you can play. So that's why I want to know, were you hurt or you injured? When you injured, it means I cannot use you. Yeah. But if you're hurt, you're going to have to play through being hurt. You have to play through pain. And so that's just part of the game. That's what you sign up for.
Who are some of your mentors coming up in the league?
Wow. Mentors.
Or like,
yeah.
I don't know how to put it, like players you look up to or players that kind of took you under their wing.
I mean, when I first got into the league, Charles Woodson was a guy who I watched from afar, and not from afar, but his locker was next to mine. Yeah. So I watched him. Whatever he did, I did, because he was like Charles Woodson. Like I grew up like idolizing Charles, and here he is, dude, like and I'm watching. He's the only defensive player ever win the Heisman Trophy. And here I am sitting like next to him in my locker, like this is like kid stuff. And I tell him that every time I see him, like, dude, like, I was a kid coming into that locker room, but I used to, when I was in high school, which was 7 years prior when he first got into the league, like I would walk by where y'all ate dinner at and just be like, man, wow. And here I am sitting next to you. It was just weird like that. But, that's kind of what, those mentors that I look to, or I always look to guys who
just led by example.
Yeah, led. And a lot of times it could be everybody. A guy who, I feel like there were so many life lessons in my locker room because everybody was doing something different. Everybody was going through something different. Everybody,
they're all human beings. They're athletes, but human beings.
Man, and it's like they go through the same things that everybody else do. Sometimes it's even worse because it's magnified. Yeah. But they go through the same thing, man. It's crazy. And it's that's so true, though, is that it's from every walk of life, like, or parts of the country. You know, it's people from Midwest, Northeast, you know, the South, Texas, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, like, and here I am in California, and I'm comfortable, and gosh, Mississippi, like, you know, they still was calling, you know, white people certain names, and seriously, it was wild, like, and I was like, man, how you talk to them like that? I'm like, bro, like, I'm in California, like, I grew up, like
I grew up 2 blocks over there. Yeah.
This dude was my neighbor, bro.
And like some of them, like, you know, didn't go to diverse high schools,
right?
You know, when they went to college, they didn't look at other people. They were just like, I just play football and I got drafted. That's it.
Wow.
So it was like, it was weird, man. That was that dynamic
wild.
In the locker room.
The cultural differences.
Yeah, like the music you listen to. That's like one of the biggest things in the locker room is the music. Because you may have guys, for me, I'm a West Coast guy, so I may want to, you know, make sure we listening to, you know, Pac. Some Game, Pac, Snoop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you got dudes from down south that want to hear, you know, some 3-6 Mafia and Pastor Troy, some Chopped and Screwed. You got the boys from Georgia that want to hear Jeezy all day. Yeah. Play everything from Outkast and, you know, everything from the Atlanta sound. You got dudes from New York that want to hear nothing but Nas and Rakim and Jay, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, that's the stuff that, like, in locker rooms you learn how to deal with that too.
That's
wild. You gotta learn how to deal with all
that. I feel like
of
the locker room dynamic is something that's so, I don't want to say secretive, it's so unknown to the general public.
Yeah,
it's like you see these athletes, you see them playing together, but then like when they come and they're not playing the game, but all of y'all have your little like hotel spaces, if you will.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's not like everybody gets along.
No. Not at
y'all
all.
Are all grown-ass men living grown-ass lives. Some of y'all are wilding out. Others have families and do that. Like, it's just one big mesh and melting pot of cats that are athletes, human beings, and have completely different like views on life and also upbringings in life.
Yeah. And what's crazy is like it's a career at that time too, which is very different. You know, all these guys have been playing you know, through college or high school where it's been the game or it's been, you know, trying to get to that next level. Now it is a job, it is a career, and I'm sure that also has an effect on things too.
Yeah, no, it's, you know, like a lot of guys too. Like for me, I wasn't, like I said, I didn't come from a lot of money, but I wasn't to a point where I wanted to spend a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I just seen guys that come in and just didn't come for money, and now they had money, and just let it go. Well, let it fly.
I mean, that's what you hear all the time. Is like, and something I want to get to.
30 for 30 on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, unreal. Like when you watch that stuff,
and it's always get upset when I think people say like, "How could they do that?" I'm like, man, if you had never lived it or seen it, you have no idea.
Yeah, because
you can all be on the outside and say, I mean, I would have did this and that.
You have no clue.
But watching guys in there who made it and got that money, and you know, who's going to tell them no?
How do you help affect change in that mentality though, right? Because like that's still something that it's like it's just like our parents.
Right.
You're not going to know until you go through it. Mm-hmm. And hopefully when you go through it, it won't be so bad that you can't get out.
That's what we're talking about, different backgrounds. You know, some kids grew up in a foster home. Some guys grew up where mom was there, no dad was there. Some kids, you know, I know a couple guys in the league right now. I was raised with my grandma, and then my grandma passed, so they have no checks, no balances. They just, I did this on my own, so I'm going to go out and do it how I know. Wow. But they don't have that knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then some people just want to grow up, and like I said, I went through a stage like that too. Like, you know what I mean? Like I wanted validation. I made it to the league, so you want to spend some money. You want to feel like an NFL player. And you go out buy chains and jewelries and cars and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's like, as I got older, I was like, man, I laugh at my young self. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, glad I didn't splurge, you know, like a lot of people did. But I laugh at my young self.
Yeah.
You know, like, man, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what was I thinking? Like, but at that time,
you looking like a Cuban link chain.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I paid 30 grand for this. Like, what the fuck was I doing?
You a young man. You in your 20s. You got money. You guys doing. I mean, it was whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And you could just carte blanche on whatever you wanted,
it's
man.
Insane.
Going to, from Vegas to wherever you want to travel to, man. It was whatever. The world was in my hands. But luckily, I kept it. You know, kept it cool.
Yeah.
I was lucky because I was on the West Coast too. And so for me, you know, I was in LA, I was in San Diego. I didn't have to fly and go to all these. I was just driving.
Yeah.
You know, I was living in these places. So
yeah.
it was easy. And I knew.
You were already acclimated too.
Already.
You'd seen it already.
And I felt like, you know, I felt like I lived the NFL lifestyle in my later years in college.
Got it.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was going out doing, you know, I was coming to Hollywood, you know, in my 20s, early 20s, you know what I mean? Like when I was in college.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a fraternity too, and my fraternity brothers went to schools around here, so we would go to different clubs. They was having all-star games and stuff here.
Yeah.
Super Bowls was in, you know what I mean? Like I was going to all the events at a young age to where some guys were never presented with that. Now they got money and they in the NFL.
Your
and
head
like,
explodes.
Oh, they do this every night. I'm like, I was living this lifestyle when I was
Yeah,
in
it kind of got old to you.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily, not necessarily like get old, but it was more like, it was like, okay.
Well, you kind of got it out of your system.
Yeah.
You did it already.
Like you got to remember, 17 years old.
Yeah.
I'm in Vegas.
Yeah.
At the MGM
You're here
Grand.
rummaging.
Some of these guys, their first time is
Yeah.
when they have money from the NFL and going to Vegas at 24, 25.
I didn't say I didn't broker a trip, but I remember
The preface.
I forgot what it is. I think it was oh man, I forgot the name of the trip. I think it was the Vegas 17. So off-season workouts, I'm like training every day, and I said, man, who all ain't been to Vegas? We in the locker room talking. I was like, I mean, I ain't never been to Vegas. I said, look, man, we gonna work our butt off, and I'm gonna take y'all all to Vegas. Everybody got money. We all can book it ahead of time. I will take care of the rooms.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of all our stuff, but we all gotta pitch in, and we can really do it up.
Yeah.
They're like, cool. And I said, I got a perfect weekend. Opening of the pools. Opening of rehab too. Remember rehab was?
Yeah.
I went to rehab when they first started. The first weekend of rehab. Before it got like where it is now, but before it got until they had like all these different shows.
Yeah,
right.
But it was
Before
still
like
special because that's like the pool
special,
coming
like,
alive.
Yeah.
Rehab was the first pool party in Vegas.
Yeah, it was known for that.
It was but this was before it got mainstream.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it was still like we're going to rehab. I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
And then it just took off. But so my first year I went as a rookie and they showed me how to do it. My second year I was always going. I was always going to Vegas. So by the time this was my fourth year in the league, and I was like, y'all ever been to Vegas? Like, no, we ain't been to Vegas. I said, all right, man, I've been going to Vegas for a long time. So I was going when I was in college. I was going when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I said, all right, I'm going to take y'all to Vegas. So we all booked all our stuff. We all went. So I got like literally 14, 15 guys who had never been to Vegas. And I was like, look, it's 14, 15 of us going. I'm letting y'all know. We're probably going to go out at least 5 times. We're going to go out Friday night, Saturday day, Saturday night, Sunday morning, and Sunday night. All right. That means that everybody come up with $2,500
Word.
for the whole weekend.
Word.
Y'all all can do it. It's $500 each night.
Yeah.
Which is actually very reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Very reasonable. I thought you were gonna say like 25 grand. I was like, what are we doing here?
$2,500 for the whole weekend.
Word.
Yeah, you could do a lot with that.
And it was like some guys who were like, all right, you know what? Like we understand the situation. Like some guys were practice squad guys. We're like, you know what? All right, man, you just do 250.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if you got drafted, you got to do this.
Yeah.
And you not drafted, man, like 250. That's that's not killing your pocket. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
And if you only want to go one night, that's cool.
Cool.
So we went out, and every night, like our tab was like, I forgot, like 5, 6, 7 grand. But it was between like 14 of us. Though,
Yeah.
You know? See, so when you really break it down, it wasn't that much.
Yeah, you're right.
And
there.
everybody had their money, so it wasn't like it was no problems. It was
Yeah.
nothing, and it was just
Pandemonium.
Man, it's crazy.
I feel you.
I mean, it was to the point where we went Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we were all supposed to be back on Monday, and nobody came back. Nobody came. Like nobody came. Nobody came to workouts Monday. But it was like, okay, like in workouts in the off season, you have 5 days to complete 4 workouts.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, I'm not coming. No.
Can't do it.
I mean, we partied our brains out. It was a first day of rehab, and like I said, we had so many guys together that we didn't have, remember, had like cabanas. We had an island.
I feel
so we had like the 3 cabanas, the big giant day bed, a whole island roped off.
Wild.
And I was like, what's going on? I said, whoever wants to come in, y'all just point them out. And we had our own party, and the alcohol was just flowing. And I had dudes was like, man, I remember we got back the next week. They was just hugging me, said, dog, you turned me out. I've never had that much fun before.
That's
because
incredible.
People have been places before, but it's different when you're in college, when you go to like a pool. And this is when Vegas was really starting to take off on the pool scene, where you have like a real, like, the music was pumping, the girls was out, the drinks was out. You really having like a true party.
Yeah.
And it was love too. And it wasn't no incidents. It wasn't
pretentious.
You didn't have to worry about yourself and people robbing you and shooting. Right. It was comfortable.
That's
so yeah, man.
You gotta have those moments, though. I mean, that's part of the journey too. You know, it's those crazy times and doing that. Going through the NFL and the league, and you know, being on the Raiders for, it was 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
5 years. Bills for 3.
Bills for 2, and Jacksonville for 1. So I did 8 years altogether.
Hey, that's a lot. That's a very long time in NFL years.
Good, yeah,
that's like 100 regular years.
For real,
it's a lot, man.
It's a long NFL career. Towards the second half of that, and you know, from the Bills and the Jaguars, did you start thinking about your life post NFL and what that could be? Because you're, you know, at this time it's like you're getting into your. Wait, did you stop when you were 30? Because you're 34 now.
Yeah, 34 now. So my last season in the league, I was 30. Yeah,
because in the beginning, you know, I'm sure you're like. You know, you in the back of your mind, you know that this may not be a long road,
right?
But when you're in it, I'm sure it feels like it's going to be forever. You're going to be playing in the league for, you know, the next 50 years. But getting to that next chapter, when did this thought start kicking in of like, what else could you do after this? You know, I'm sure it can be a tough transition for a lot of players,
right?
Especially as athletes, you hear about it all the time. You know, what is that life? Post this, kind of like, who are you, and finding your identity again, and figuring out, you know, you've talked about you dabbling in broadcasting. You love being in front of the camera. You felt really comfortable. Were you conscious of those thoughts as like turning that into a career at that point? Or was it just like, look, my career, I see the light to the end of that tunnel coming. And where am I going next? Because I always find that fascinating with athletes, because you're still so young.
Yeah.
Like you've had an entire, like a lot of people don't even find their like job until sometimes their 30s or get into that. But you've already had an entire career,
right? Very
successful. And then what's that like?
You know, I always had a plan though. Like, I mean, not necessarily a plan, but I had an idea. I can't say I had a plan. I had an idea.
And that was some kind of radio, television. I would do interviews and radio shows while I was playing.
Oh, so you still kept up that?
So I was on Adam Carolla's podcast every Monday in the Raiders. I had radio hits. When I was in Jacksonville, I hosted a Monday morning show every Monday morning. Just talking football every Monday morning with the local affiliate.
So that never stopped for you.
It never stopped.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when I was in the league, I was always doing it.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So my rookie year, I started doing it. My second, third year too. My second year, you know what? That's what I did. My buddy of mine was like, "Man, you need to get a publicist." I was like, "No, I don't need no publicist."
Yeah.
No, you need a publicist because they can get you some opportunities and things I think that you would be great at. I was like, all right. So I got a publicist, and then they just started introducing me to people. And I just started going out and just meeting all kind of people.
Word.
Yeah. Just start meeting people, man. And then start meeting the people I need to. I remember I went to an event, and it was a fairly older woman there. Like, she was, you know, like, I wouldn't call her elder, but she was probably in her 60s, 70s, something like that. And she was like, I sat down. She said, "Oh, how you doing, young man?" I was like, "I'm doing well." she was like, oh, she's like, yeah, you having a good time? And I was like, yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm here with some friends. And I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, oh, you having a good time? Like, who you here with? She's like, oh yeah, my son. My son invited me. I'm just here. I'm having a good time. And I'm seeing all these athletes, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, who's your son? She was like, oh, my son, he's just a producer for one of the shows for ESPN. I was like, oh, that'd be great. I'd love to meet him. And then, so finally her son comes back, and then her son, she's like, hey, son, this is, what's your name again? Kirk? Yeah, I was like, Kirk Morrison. He's like, Kirk, the Raiders linebacker, right? I was like, yeah, how you doing? He's like, oh, yeah. And he was telling me his name. I was like, I'm Mike. And Mike was like, okay, Mike, how you doing? It's like, I produced this show and this show. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, oh, cool. He was like, man, I was like, man, I'd love to come on sometime. He's like, really? You sure? Man, we exchanged numbers that day. And that's kind of how I started my my television career.
Wow.
He told me to come on, and I've been coming on the show ever since. And once you get on a show once and your face is out there and they see you and they do it, it just, boom, it becomes a clip. It becomes a reel.
How long ago was this? Was this 4 years ago?
Yeah, 06.
Okay.
2006.
Oh, so that's 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. This is like my rookie year.
Oh,
and then I did it once, and then later on he hit me back and said, hey, you want to do something else with me? I was like, sure. And he ended up doing a day in the life. He had a camera with me, and I was always doing like the media days and all the interviews. Yeah, media days and interviews. And yeah, so they just follow me around doing that.
That's incredible.
So you were doing that stuff all throughout your career.
All throughout my career.
That's so important. Did a lot of guys do things like that?
No, not the guys like laughed at me like, oh yeah, Kirk, he loved that
really?
media. He wanted to be in front of it, blah, blah, blah. But like now they were like, man, you always wanted to do that. Like, I know. That's why, I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I just didn't have a plan.
Got it. So, but you just took the opportunities and put yourself out there.
Yeah. And then that kind of comes up to where how how I started really into where I'm at now. So I get done playing in 2012. 2013 off season comes. I'm still working out, still training. I still want to play in the league. And, I just got married a year prior. So this was like my first off season now that I'm married. So I'm just hanging with my wife and, we're just thinking about certain things. And we get to a point where I remember she was like, well, whatever you want to do, I'm always going to support you. Obviously we know where home base is going to be at and whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. So I worked out for a couple teams. And then it gets to about August, middle and late August. And I had a decision to make. They were launching a new network out here in L.A., Fox Sports 1.
Okay.
And some kind of way, I didn't have a broadcasting agent at the time, but a guy who I was kind of working with was like, hey, if you go over to Fox Sports 1, is that Fox Sports 1 has something that's opening now. And I had interviewed. That's what I did in the off season. I had interviewed and auditioned over there.
Oh, wow.
Just on some just see, because I was like, yeah, opportunity. I was like, hey, are you playing or not? I was like, I don't know. We'll see. I was like, well, you're in L.A., so come on. So I auditioned and did all that. And then it just came that this squad, because I wasn't retired yet. So end of August, the calls was out there. Everybody was like, just hold on. We're going to see what we can do. And it wasn't nothing for certain. The Fox thing was for sure. Sat down with my wife, and she's like, do you want to play or do you need to play?
Ooh.
Yeah. Wow.
Shout out to Ashley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to play or do you need to play?
Wow.
And I'm like, well, I want to play. I want to play for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I want to play. I love playing.
Yeah.
But I don't need to play. I've made a nice little career for myself. I can start a new field that eventually will get to hopefully where we want it to be at.
Yeah.
And you start that now, because if you don't start it, the opportunity that had presented itself with Fox will never, ever happen again. Wow. And it kind of goes back to what we're saying. It's like all about chance, by faith.
But decisions.
The decisions. And I was like, you know what? And so that day I hung up my cleats. I was just done.
Wow.
With the league. It just, like, that's how it happens with a lot of guys. Everybody doesn't get to have a Peyton Manning press conference and say, you know what, I want to thank the NFL. Yeah. That just doesn't, that's not everybody. Half the dudes is just like, all right, nobody signed me. I'm done.
Wow.
That's the reality of it. If somebody had to sign me earlier on, I still had to be playing. And I wouldn't be doing probably what I'm doing now because I wouldn't have the opportunity. But it all kind of lined up to where I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm retired. I start working for Fox. Jumped over there, started getting my reels up.
Yeah,
people start seeing you because that's the one thing about professional sports, especially in football. When you do one show, everybody sees you because all the shows, all the networks watch all the shows and see who's out there.
They're scanning.
So once they start seeing me, everybody starts seeing me. Oh man, you doing a good job. Oh, I like your stuff. Blah, blah. And then I just started expanding it, doing that. Start doing serious radio. I was already doing Fox, so I started doing Fox when I was in 2010. And the guy asked me in 2010. No, I was at I asked me, hey, do you want to do a Super Bowl preview show? I know you're in LA, and I was like, well, our Fox affiliate in LA would love to have you. You should come out and do it. You know, we'll pay you a couple bucks. You know, I was like, all right, cool, I'll do it. So came out and I kind of just blew it up, you know, just like this is what I thought. And he was like, hey man, you sound pretty good. You ever thought about doing radio? I was like, yeah, I really have. He's like, here's my card. Give me a call and I'll let you know. So I was so excited about it.
It's amazing.
I was so excited. I called him the next day.
Yeah,
called him. He didn't answer. Left a message.
Yeah.
Called him on Tuesday. Left a message.
Yeah.
By Wednesday, he called me back.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm working on some things, but, you know, I see that you're interested, and I'll see what I can do because I'm in the off season.
Yeah.
And I remember he called me about a week later. I said, hey, 2 things. I may have something for you. You're not going to get rich, you know, but it's something that if you want to do, I got something for you. So there was a show that was opening up. It was going to be in the off seasons. And he's like, yeah, and I'll work with your football schedule. That'd be pretty good. So it was going to be every Saturday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. I'm like, damn, do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
Because now I'm in the off season of a football year. You know, I'm an off season football player.
Yeah.
And Saturdays are like gold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I got my girlfriend at the time. You know, it's not my wife now, but I'm just like, Saturday, how do I tell her, hey, every Saturday we're not doing anything. I'm going to be doing radio.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be getting paid a lot, but I'm going to be doing radio.
Yeah.
But she was like, but that's what you want to do later on in life, though. I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do later on in life.
That's incredible.
That's
Shout
what I always
out number 2 to Ashley coming in.
So, yeah, so I always knew I wanted to do that. So I started with them, and that relationship built to where the Fox Sports 1 deal also came.
And you had your chops up at that point.
I had my chops up. So even now, which I'm now working for ESPN LA, like I've already had 8 years in the industry. So it's 7 years in the industry of doing radio.
And do you love this? Like, do you have that fire in you? Because I can imagine for any player, hanging up those cleats can be a tough thing, you know. But I'm sure having something that you're equally passionate about, or something that you're just excited, like a new fire, a new time of exploration, a new identity, a new challenge, that could be just even more exciting than what your life has been up to this point. You know, going into that, did you have those feelings of like that fire, like almost like a newfound fire?
A little bit. I mean, obviously you're going to be scared to tackle it all too. Because I didn't know what I was getting into, you know, and like just everything just started happening. You know, I jump into TV after I closed hung my cleats up. So now I'm doing TV. Fox Sports Radio picks me up even more now. Say, hey, we want you to do our Sundays along with your regular radio show. So I started doing that, and then on top of that, they also told me, said, hey, we want you. NFL on Fox told me we want you to start broadcasting games for us. So like, and then my college even told me we want you to broadcast our games. And like all this stuff like came all to me like at once. Like
wow,
whoa.
Which is it's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, but here I am. Like I wasn't even believing in myself yet.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even think I was good. You know? And here all these people.
What was going through your head?
I'm getting opportunities that like, you know, people like wait their whole lives for it, you know, 10, 15 years in the radio business trying to get the, and here I am 2 or 3 years, not even 2 or 3 years removed, and I'm already getting opportunities to be an NFL on like a national TV audience and be able to do that, you know, or doing the radio stuff, like all of us that came in, and even my college that said, hey, you want to do like broadcast our games and be a part of that? Like they approached me, and I was like, whoa. And it was just like, man, but it all helped out. It was just lined up perfect.
But you took those opportunities.
Oh, I'm taking them all.
Yeah.
But
even if you felt you may have not been up to par, that's a testament.
But see, and then it goes back to like other things too, because it's like the more you tell one story, you remember another story where I used to do all these non-paid appearances on all these television shows.
Really?
Yeah. So I would do a Sports Nation, I would do a CBS leadoff, I would do this show and this show, and after working with some of those people who I couldn't tell who they were.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, yeah, we worked together on this show. Like, oh, shit, I didn't even know.
Wow.
But I was meeting so many people back when I was playing that we always cross paths.
Wow.
People always end up saying, so
you put yourself out there.
Yeah, but for guys who don't understand that everything that you do, just do it all. Because people ask me all the time, man, I'm trying to get into what you're doing. It's like, I don't know how to tell you. Like, I've developed relationships with these people for many years.
Because
like
you were taking every single
so I was taking everything, to you. Everything. I was doing it all.
A lot of guys' egos will get in the way there.
Exactly.
Pride will get in the way there.
Like, oh, I don't want to do that, man. I'm tired, man. It's the off season. I'm good. Like, hey, Kirk, we got a show 6 a.m.
But you'll never know where it gets you.
Man, that's where it got me. Like, yeah, Kirk, we worked together on this show. Like, oh, wow. So even with the Rams gig, I did like working for ESPN LA. Like one of the guys who was very, very instrumental in getting me the job, I actually worked with him on a skit that I did for like 2 or 3 episodes for CBS.
That's so
amazing.
wild.
I was just out there. I was like, oh man, how you doing? Nice to meet you. He's like, yeah, we've worked together. I was like, really? I was like, yeah, we worked together on this show over for CBS a long time ago. I was like, wow. I was like, no, you were great then. And I was like, when your name came up, I was like, oh yeah, I know him. Like, yeah,
it's great because it's like that those unpaid opportunities where you're building.
Right.
The value is coming, 100 times more in the future. Where at those moments, it's like you're building your exposure, building your experience, and most importantly, building your network.
Exactly.
Which makes you now a player in that game. So now, when it's time to make this into that jump where you are getting paid, you are doing this as a career, a real thing. You've already paid the path with those other opportunities, and I think there's a lot of value in that. Where sometimes the value isn't in the dollars you're getting paid.
Right.
It's experience, man.
I got experience, man.
Yeah.
I got that experience, and it was.
Because it's something else to be in a national TV, like knowing you're going to be nationally broadcast.
Man, that's crazy, man. Being in the suit, and people texting you, calling, man, I just saw you on the show. Man. I just seen you doing this. I saw you on this show. I just saw you broadcasting, man. I'd be like, wow. So, yeah, that's what happened. I started doing all of that, and then I went to, I started going with that's crazy because when I first started with Fox, they didn't have me on any shows for the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm going to pay my own way to the Super Bowl.
Wild.
And I paid my own way. I found like a nice little cheap flight. I found this, and I ended up finding someone else who paid for my flight to do another thing. And so, but when I got there, like stuff starts happening. They're like, who else? And they're like, they called me up. Hey, just come on. We need you for the show. So I did like 5 or 6 shows.
Unreal.
Because I was there. I put myself
constantly putting yourself there.
And I had 0 opportunities before I got there. And I ended up doing 5 or 6 just from being there.
Incredible.
And I could have had more if they wanted me to stay, but I ended up leaving and going back. Because I had to be back for another show that I had already booked. Then they paid for me to come back. So, yeah.
How do you, in those moments, that you've talked about so much in your journey here, in those moments, how do you deal with that maybe fear of failure that a lot of people deal with when they get big opportunities or any opportunities? Like, I know I've been in that place. I'm sure Nushi, you have too, where you get an opportunity, you're like, I really just don't want to mess this up.
Yeah.
This is deal with the pressure of that, where I feel like for you acknowledge it, but you've always had this very cool, calm, I'm just going to do my thing vibe, which has been so valuable. But, how do you balance that or deal with it? Or it's like take every opportunity, but you also don't want to mess them up.
Yeah. I think just for me, it's just got to go be your best you. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't be what someone likes or what someone wants to listen to, what someone doesn't. I got to be my best me and hope that's enough.
So you try not to think about others' expectations of you, or just try to just know where you can elevate yourself?
Well, I'm always open for criticism, and I'm always open to help me. I never feel like I'm perfect, and don't want to be perfect.
Yeah,
because I want to continue to learn. I want to continue to keep getting better. I want to continue to keep going to where I'm a voice, and I still feel like I'm not even where I need to be at yet, and that's why I think it's a constant battle in my head where not necessarily I don't want to mess this up. It's more like I need to still keep getting better, and that's why I push myself. Like, how can I be better? What am I missing? What am I not doing? Like, dissect what am I not doing?
Yeah,
and I listen to people I feel like are veterans and understand it, and I'm like, I need to get there, and I feel like I'm just not there yet, and that's that mind game that I have with myself all the time.
But it's always pushing you to get better.
Always. That's how it is. That's how the only way you get better is if you find ways to get better, and then also just to never feel like I've never arrived.
Yeah.
I never made it yet,
Which is so crazy because you're an 8-year NFL vet. You know what I mean? Like that's what's so crazy to me is that, and I love this part of your story. It's just like that evolution that happens is that where you are now and where you're going and everything's new and you're so challenged by this and you're building it and you have so much growth, but you've already had a very successful career.
Yeah.
Like a career that most people never even have or spend their entire lives building. But I think the point is that like the entire life is the journey here.
I feel like it's just a short part of my life though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's all pieces of my life.
It's like it's not an end goal. It's like that wasn't just it for you. It's like, okay, I made it to a lot of people. Well, I feel like if I was a kid that had dreams of being an NFL player, it's like that's it. That's all I could see myself. But for you, it's like it was just simply one chapter, and now what? Which is where you are now.
It's incredible how you're taking these chapters in stride.
I love it.
You know what I mean? Like,
and the thing about it is, I want more.
Yeah.
I want more opportunities. I feel like I'm busy now, but I feel like I need to be more busy.
So with that being said, what is success to Kirk Morrison?
I don't even know what that is.
Good.
Word. Success to me is just keep working.
Being
success
the best you.
I think success maybe is just people telling you, great job. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're working. But to me, I don't know what success is.
I feel like success always, for those that really seek it, like, and the ones that have the drive like you have,
right.
It kind of becomes a thing of success is waking up tomorrow and being better.
Right. I remember I heard something a couple months ago, and it's like, it may kind of sum up kind of where I'm at. Like, success is where you can't wait to go to sleep because you get to wake up and do it all over again. You know what I mean?
Bang.
Love it.
And it was like, I heard, like, damn, that's deep. It was like some people
throw the mic off. I'm not gonna drop the shit. I'm gonna throw the mic out of the window. Right now.
But like, cause it was like it's so simple, but yet so deep. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You like, man, like that's when you're having fun.
I would have
walked
out of the room already. You know what I mean? That was really deep, though.
It's deep, man, and like it's just like that's why it just caught on to me, and I just keep thinking about that, man. It's like to a point where like it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, damn, I just want to go to sleep. I can't wait to go to sleep because I can't wait to do it over again. I can't wait to get back up and go get better at something. I can't wait to go out and start studying, start learning more.
That's incredible.
You know what I mean? It's weird, man. It's like
that's incredible. That's a gift.
Yeah,
that's a fantastic place to be too. To realize that. I think it gives perspective on things too. You know, tomorrow tomorrow you get to be a new person. You know, I heard this thing recently. It's like tomorrow hasn't happened yet, so you really can make tomorrow whatever you want it to be.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, literally, you can do anything. You want to go skydiving, you want to go travel. You can make tomorrow whatever it is.
I already skydived already, so I'm good.
Oh, that's lit.
I got out the way already.
That's lit.
Awesome. Well, Kirk, man, this has been
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Thank
man.
you so much for your time and your story. You know, like I really can't wait for those people that listen to this, whatever path they're on, whether it's entertainment, sports, broadcast, just like college, whatever it is. Like this is one of those incredible stories that I can't wait for the culture and the youth and even just people in general to hear. This has been brilliant.
Oh man, I
thank you so much.
It's crazy. I mean, it's like, to me, it's just my life.
Yeah.
You know? Somebody else may say like, man, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
To me, it's, you know, I feel like I'm not even half of what I know
Absolutely.
others have had to go through.
Yeah.
You know, this is just the path that I was taking. This is the path that I followed. And I'm going to continue to keep going down that path to where I'm trying to still strive for greatness.
Incredible.
You know?
Incredible.
I got to give a special shout out to my girl Kalia.
Hey.
for how I know Kirk, her sister L'Oreal.
Incredible.
Making the connection, and obviously your lovely wife Ashley.
Yeah, her birthday, man, tomorrow. So,
wow.
Yeah, she has a birthday. So yeah, I told her I was doing the podcast. She says, "Oh man, that's great," because like I said, she's one of my biggest fans too.
Awesome.
So I love working and doing that because, you know, she knows that that's a passion of mine, and it does, like a lot of things too, take sacrifice.
Yes.
You know. Yes. You gotta have
you,
that.
You have two wonderful, beautiful kids.
Yes, and the kids are there.
A son and
Mr.
daughter,
Cruz.
Man. Yeah, daughter. So it's yeah, you got a lot of amazing things happening, man.
Yeah,
incredible.
Still going, man.
We wish you all the best. I can't wait to just see you continuing to become.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
I get that. Yeah.
I can't wait to have you on a year from now in here.
Oh yeah, what's going on? Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Kirk, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Kirk Morrison, KirkMorrison. I'm on Snapchat too. Mr. Kirk Morrison is on Snapchat. Instagram, just Kirk Morrison. Just try to keep it simple, man. They can find me on the ESPN LA airwaves. So I'll do Rams pregame, postgame. So I'm on ESPN LA every week doing that. I do a lot of fill-in hosts with them. I also do my San Diego State football color commentary. So I do every San Diego State football game with them. And then I'm also a host on the SiriusXM NFL channel. So,
ladies and gentlemen, safe to say this man is beyond busy.
Yeah. Just Google Kirk Morrison.
Beyond
You're
busy.
going to find him.
I try to. And then I also, like, with my spare time, I'm a consultant with the NFLPA, the National Football League Players Association. And I try to, like, how my story is now, my thing that I do when I have my free time is, I get some free time, is help players transition into that next aspect of their life. Because I feel like I'm not necessarily a success story, but I've had that path. But there's a lot of people when they retire, they have no idea what's next.
That's scary.
At all. It's very scary. They literally don't know. Like, you get cut and it's done, and you're not getting picked up. A lot of people go through a lot of depression, go through a lot of things that people have no idea about. And so I try I try to work with a lot of guys and give them something to do and look at, and give them opportunities for them to go continue education, learn about finances, learn about things. Because a lot of guys don't take advantage while you're playing.
Sure.
But the minute you're done playing, like, okay, I need to go get this fixed or get this done. So
you still got a hell of a lot of life ahead of you.
Got a ton of it, man. Ton.
Amazing. Well, thank you again for coming on. This has just been an incredible time.
All good.
Super appreciate you, man. Mama,
we made it.